All right, well, welcome here for the Italian Grand Prix. We got qualifying started for F1. You can hear the roaring V8 engines around here. It sounds really loud in my ear. It doesn't sound that loud on the broadcast, but I'm kind of having my trouble hearing myself with the engines blasting here through this famous Italian track here. And we got qualifying just started for you guys, so you can catch all the action here. And we'll bring up the ticker alongside so you can follow here as we got almost 30 drivers here lined up for qualifying, much more than we had last week at Suzuka. And again, I think everyone eyeing this track, it can be fairly easy in some cases, but also fairly hard in others, as you saw with the F3 race earlier.
Yeah, obviously we're going to see faster speeds. I think we're almost about 207, close to 210 miles per hour going into the first turn for Corey Whiting, who's pretty much leading everyone on their laps right now. So it's going to be exciting. Obviously the F3 race a bit more spread out than we thought. We'll see what happens in this F1 race.
Absolutely here, and looking at some of the drivers out here on track. Not exactly sure who's put down a time yet or who's the closest to, because the entire track is covered in cars pretty much. Actually, I think I see the 12 car of Corey Whiting seems to be leading the charge of drivers up in front, currently on their flying laps.
Yeah, Corey Whiting and Luca Ferlich, I believe, are going to be the first two to put laps down. Ferlich kind of in the draft, in the slipstream of Whiting here, trying to get the better run as they go by another car warming up to get their lap going, as Jason Siemens getting in behind the 12 of Whiting here, getting in between him and Ferlich. So we'll see what kind of times the first couple of drivers get down here.
And coming flying out of Parabolica and across the line for Corey Whiting. He's going to start the times going on, 125. Pretty much flat for him. It's not going to be enough, though. Luca Ferlich immediately goes faster right behind for hold on at first. Then we got Carlos Couton in behind. It's going into third. Thomas Ziegler coming across as well in third place at the moment. Danilo Sanfilippo, who comes across the line in second. And still also looking down the order, as you're talking about Sanfilippo, don't see Marco Sanfilippo here again as well. But I notably see, I do see Marco just down the order. And also here is notably, too, Ben Fuller in a McLaren theme paint scheme for him this week.
Yeah, really nice car right there, looking pretty sharp. So we'll see if he can put that car at the front. That's something McLaren hasn't done in a while, so maybe he can change their fortunes.
Oof.
And they got a podium. I mean, they're doing all right. I can't really roast them, but yeah, it's really slick scheme. We'll see what kind of lap he can put down here. I'm still really looking forward to seeing what Danilo Sanfilippo can do this week. We obviously saw him dominate last week, not even close at Suzuka. Dominated Q1, Q2, Q3, and no one was even close to him in the race. A bit down the order for them, a little bit down the order in qualifying right now, only in fourth, but we'll see what he can do. If he can keep it on the track today, and he can set those fast laps that we've been seeing all year, not all year, at Suzuka last week, we'll see what he can do here this week.
Absolutely, here as you can see him, yeah, slowly just about in fifth place. And again, the times we were talking about it being a lot closer between these drivers. In fact, for Ben Fuller, we were just talking about him. He's completed his first lap, currently sitting in fifth, just ahead of Danilo Sanfilippo. Still got some fast drivers making some laps on, and his teammate finally, Tim Matzik, I believe is how you say that name. I hope I'm right. Is finally showing up for an event here, running currently sitting on provisional pole.
23.518, about a tenth faster than Thomas Ziegler, who sits second. Actually, really close between the top three, only separated by about 1.6 tenths or so. So those guys really close at the top of the board right now.
Yeah, looking at the team standings, Glithica, which is the team Ben Fuller and Tim Matzika are on. Currently sitting third in the standings, in behind F1 APS Red, and then Fertilli Capone Corsa, the team of Danilo and Marco Sanfilippo, running up, leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment. But it's all still very close, unlike how Mercedes has been dominating this season in F1. F1 APS Red is only just about 14 points in behind, and then between F1 APS Red and Galithica, they're only about 11 points in behind them, so it's still very close up near the top of the standings. And we also got to include, again, there are drop weeks. There's 3 drop weeks for both the F3 and the F1 season, so those will all be counted at the end. So that's definitely where you can see a lot of shuffling around in the points. You see Matt Z come across the line. I don't think that last lap counted for him. Bruno Canovas, though, we're talking about F1 APS Red, running very well for himself, up in second place.
Yeah, he had a decent run last week as well. We were talking about the Constructors Championship. There's still realistically 3 teams that have a realistic chance of getting in the lead for the Constructors Championship. It might be down to the wire between 2 or 3 teams this year. We'll see what happens. Obviously anything can happen. We've seen a lot of drama in the past, so we'll see how racy these teams get later in the year. Hopefully it might be an insane blast. I'm actually trying to watch Canovas here. I don't remember how fast he was. I think it was decent for maybe top 5 speed last week, but he's looking really good right now with a 23.56, putting him actually P3 right now as Rafael Mattor goes to the top of the boards with a 23.3.
Yeah, a very solid time for Mata as well. So as you're saying, going to be good enough to sit on P1 at the moment. Again, setting the top 15. That will move on to Q2. Looking at the order now, we got a few guys quite across the line. Currently sitting on that bubble, Cody Sandwith. He's come across the line. Did not have a good run at Suzuka, this driver. So he's looking to probably make up quite a bit more here. He's just sitting inside the top 15. Palace Toledo sitting back in 16th, only 30 thousandths of a second off.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much time to make up right now, but it's actually, I think, letting some drivers on their hot laps go. That was Leandro Bignardi right now, so he's going to let him go. He's only got a couple tenths to make up right now to get into the second round right now. He's just really trying to warm up the tires right now.
And you can see running in again in 18th place at the moment, only a few tenths off of the cutoff line. And looking back at Jason Siemens, who's currently the driver to beat, he ran a 121.3, and Bignardi 124.5. So only a few tenths off. That's all Bignardi has to make up, and you can find that in almost any corner. We'll see here as he's coming through Parabolica. Is this enough to surpass the 15 car? And across the line he will go, and indeed he will. He'll be inside the top 15. They'll put him in 13th.
13th position, good job to get in there, but still not safe by any means, only up by a tenth. We'll see if anyone behind him maybe picks up, if anyone's on track right now. Cody Sandwith actually goes 9th at 23.643, so put him pretty solidly into that second round right now. Ben Fuller starting his lap, Charlie Bass starting his lap, I believe. A couple others coming across the line to try to put down a lap. Corey Whiting, a 124.2, that puts him 14th. And now he's back down to 15th. I'm trying to see who bumped him. I can't really tell. I think Javier Bora might have bumped him. A 24.1 puts him 14th. Like we're saying, Bignardi, he was in, and just like that, he's out.
Javier Bora, I'm trying to see. We do have him. We do have him signed. I'm trying to think of who he's running with. I don't know, Connor, if you could find that out for me, but
it's the same. It's a HIT Racing Team logo that was that we saw in the 3 race. So I wonder if they're just not updated on the. Actually, HIT Racing is on the F1.
Yes.
They do not have points.
Alberto Rodriguez is his teammate, and indeed Rodriguez is here. So I'm not sure these guys have not shown up in previous races. I don't recall them here.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't remember. If not, they definitely did not have remarkable races. They've yet to score points this season, but looking pretty decent at the moment for both the drivers. Let's see, Rodriguez is currently the only driver that's yet to put down a time, sitting currently in 28th, so we'll see if he can improve that. And got a lot of cars here in comparison to Suzuka. We had, I think, 24 there. We got 28 now here at Monza. So we're going to eliminate quite a few drivers. We're going to eliminate, 14 drivers here out of Q1.
We need a 4th round. We need an extra round to get a lot of these guys out, because almost like half the field is going to get cut down in this one round alone, as Rodriguez comes across the line at 124.2. That barely puts him in P15. He's going to have to definitely improve on that in the next 10 minutes.
See if he can, but already starting off pretty strong here. Pretty much right alongside his teammate, who's just ahead of him in 14. So both those cars running pretty well at the moment. Trying to look at some other drivers here. Andre Eisenlohr currently riding on him. He was heading 200 miles an hour down to his car. Extremely fast speeds here, not surprising. If it's enough one car, you expect these things to be fast.
You don't expect them to go slow by any means. We're trying to see a couple cars coming across the track. A lot of guys sitting in the pits for the time being. Silvio Rizzola, 124.8. He doesn't pick up any spots, I don't believe. Alberto Rodriguez coming out of the pits. Carlos Cato might be starting his lap, not quite sure. He's P13. He didn't improve on his last lap. Danilo Sanfilippo coming out. A couple guys just came out of the pits, actually. Sanfilippo's there. Fernandez Garrido might have just ended his lap. He's P8. And also Bruno Canoves, Gonzalez Rodriguez back out there again. A lot of guys trying to start their laps up early.
Looking at Xavier Bora currently running in the 666 car. That's a curse number. See if his luck's not going to be cursed here. He's again sitting on that bubble in 15th. See if he improves again. You don't want to be right on that bubble. You might be good, you might not be, and there's a good chance you might not. We've seen a lot of times where just at the end of the session, someone's able to ike a little bit faster. Bora, he's starting his lap this time by. Look at some other drivers. Danilo Sanfilippo, he's out on track back in 12th. He'll be starting a flyer next time by, and Ben Fuller looks like he started a lap this time, but no, this time through.
Yeah, we'll see what Ben Fuller can do here. I'm still interested in Sanfilippo. We saw him up, like we keep saying, I keep saying so much, how much he dominated last week at Suzuka, but we're not seeing that domination. Actually barely in right now, only in 12th right now, so he's got a lot of work to do to get up there with the leaders, as Tim Matzke actually is at the top of the boards, as we see him and Marco Sanfilippo in the 22-second bracket. So Danilo Sanfilippo, he puts down a 1:23.5. That's good enough for P8, but we're not seeing the same pace that we saw last week from him.
Back at Ben Fuller here in the 55 machine.
So he's just warming up the tire. You're getting ready to start his lap next time.
And he's got the hope that he just have more time to work with if this isn't the best of laps, but he's slowly starting to run out of time. This is further back than I would have thought. I would have thought he would have gotten a decent time on his first lap out, but slowly drifting back to that cutoff again. Don't expect him to be cut off. That would be a huge upset after winning the first two races and didn't win last week just simply because he wasn't here last week.
Let's see what happens here. Another person I'm trying to look at for a time here is Luca Furlan, trying to find him here. I think he had the podium last week thanks to some incidents happening, as he's not really showing the same pace in qualifying, as I don't think he was on the podium in qualifying last week, but he's not up there right now. A 23.5 right now puts him P7. He's looking solid to get into that second round, but he's trying to find a bit of pace to get back into that podium.
And see, these guys are working through the first chicane here, trying to see any other surprises. Thomas Ziegler, I don't think we've talked a whole lot about him. He's currently up in P3. I don't think we'll see him out back on the track. Should be good enough to move on to Q2, so I think he's just gonna chill in the pits for now. Looking at Ben Fuller, where he is on his lap, he's heading down the back stretch into Ascari. For his lap times, currently 28.1 in the first sector, and in sector 2, 27.7.
He went about 200, 201, 202 into Ascari there, so insane speeds into these tight corners here in this second and third sector here. As we see Ben Fuller, he's on a decent time. He needs to gain a lot of time to make sure he's safe into this second qualifying round, as he's only a few tenths safe, and that's really not safe when you really look at it. He's going to come with the line here.
Oh,
yeah. Be faster.
Yeah, I think this actually might be up in front D, 22.6, yeah. So Fuller definitely good on Q2. Not too surprising there. Danilo Sanfilippo, I'm not sure if he just came and put a time down. No, he's on a flyer right now this time through, and again, sitting back in 9th has a bit of comfort, but again, you can never be too sure.
Yeah, you can never be sure at all, especially when you're really in the mid-pack of the top 15. You see a couple people coming down to put laps down. Charlie Bass, just nothing doing there. It's still 25th. Emilio Fernandez Garrido, 23.566, puts him P9. Looking decent here. Could still try to make up some more time, though. Also, Pedro Gomez, not much doing there in 21st. And I believe Don Day is starting another lap here, as he's at the very bottom of the board.
Sanfilippo here running through Ascari, over 200 kilometers an hour maintained through that section. That's around 120 miles an hour through Ascari. That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you really look at it. When you really feel that speed, if you're especially if you're there at the real track and say no speeds at Monza, it's absolutely insane to watch them zip around and really not lose any time, just glued to the track. It's insane to watch.
Sanfilippo up into 4th place. He's going to be more than good on to Q2, so you can see him probably retire for the rest of the session. But Leandro Bignardi now, the driver, sitting on that cutoff spot in 15th with a 123.9, which he just set last time through. He's going to have to go quicker, though.
Yeah, only 2 tenths of a good, and a lot of those guys behind him definitely have the ability to pretty much blow that time out of the water. There's a few guys back there that can really improve easily. So I don't even think guys like Fernandez Garrido up there with a 23.5 is necessarily safe yet. We've still got so much time left. We'll see if Bignardi can make himself safe here, though.
Yeah, as he comes across the line here, is this time better for him? A 123.8, indeed it is. Won't improve his position, but put him that much more to the good. Again, sitting on the cutoff, he is good to move on as it stands, but Carlos Coutin in behind, he's come across the line with a 124.3. Not good enough for him. He's going to need to improve to go on to Q2. Looking also a little bit further back as well, Severson Oliveira, he's not been having a particularly good qualifying session. Had a decent starting spot at Suzuka, but had an early incident that put him way down the order. So we'll see if he can improve better here.
We'll see. There's not many people ahead of him to get draft off of Clivati. Flavio Clivati's up there. I don't think he's really getting draft off. And those are teammates, so maybe that was the tactic. Not quite sure, as Olivier is actually only starting his time. He's only going to get drafted down that straightaway. He's going to go 2:08 in the first chicane, so it definitely helps there. We'll see if he can piece the rest of a lap together.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see if there are going to be the teammate tactics here in qualifying. Can't imagine too much of it, but see if that does help them out at all. So Olivier again trying to go on a final run here with just over 2.5 minutes remaining. These guys are going to essentially start lining up for their final runs here in just a little bit if they've not already. Looking at a little bit more at some drivers at the cutoff. Alberto Rodriguez here again, HIT Racing. Guess I'm not sure that's HIT Racing or Hit Racing. I imagine HIT because it's in all caps, but he's sitting in the pits at the moment. I think he feels like he might be good, but I don't know.
Which one of those is that again?
I'm looking at Alberto Rodriguez here at the moment in 14th.
I mean, he's got about 4/10 of good. We'll see here. I'm not quite sure if that's necessarily going to get him anything though. It's actually Esteverson Olivier actually crashed on his hot lap, so he's going to have to go out right away again here to try to put any sort of lap down.
Looking at Carlos Coutin here, working through the first part of the check. He put a 124.1, or so that was his best lap. He still has to put down a time this time through. Xavier Bor, he's actually now on the track, and he's not going to have enough time. So you need to get on track now, or at least be on the track. You should have been on the track now if you wanted to put in a time. So it looks like some of these guys out here, they're just kind of throwing their hands up in the air, and looks like they're not going to make another shot. However, Eliana Bignardi is currently on the track, and 15th is to the good for now. He's got to hope that Carlos Coutin, as he works through his story, if he's got anything here. And Corey Whiting as well. He's just come across lines. Sorry about that.
We'll see. Actually, there's someone in, because I have actually the driver's chat on, Alberto Gonzalez Rodriguez. I don't know. He might not have gone out because Alberto Gonzalez Rodriguez, he might have not have gone out right now. He actually didn't know how many people get through to this first round. So, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get on track because he was a bit confused there. So, hopefully his P14 holds up. He's, like we said, a few tenths of good over 16th, but you got to hope that holds up. Danilo Sanfilippo, he's already safe, trying to improve. A 23.3 is not going to improve that time. Pedro Gomez, I think this is going to be his final lap, if anything, trying to put something down. It was a 24.3, and he's only 21st. Really needs to pull something out of a bag here.
Yeah, he's coming across the line, so he's good. In about 15 seconds, checkered flag will wave, and again, that is going to be the end of qualifying, but if you start a lap, you can finish it. And most of these guys here, they're already on their final runs. Everyone is at the top 10. We're not really worried about the moment. Most of them have kind of called it a day. Even some guys near just inside the top 15. As you see, checker flag now flying here. Here's Leandro Bignardi. He's on a flying lap, working through turns 1 and 2. Heading down to the second chicane. Again, sitting in 15th. And it looks like Carlos Coutin, he's brought it back to the pits. He's not going to prove. Corey Whiting across the line for him. It's going to be a 124.3, slower than his best time, so he'll have to be out here in Q1. Not make it on through. Moving on back, we got Pedro Gomez again. He's on a flying lap.
And Patrick Woodstrup's going to come up to the line. That lap's not going to count for anything, so he's out of Q number 1 here, as a lot of people finally finishing their lap. Sanfilippo, that's Danilo coming across to end his time. Pedro Gomez really... He hasn't been really a factor in this first qualifying, really trying to pull a few tenths out here and there, and he's just not able to do it. We'll see what kind of lap he puts down here, though, and it's going to be a 309. Improves maybe one spot, but it's not going to be enough for Q1, Q2.
Yeah, moves I think 2 spots up into 19th, but I was just saying, yep, not going to be enough to move on to Q2. Charlie Bass in behind. I think he actually came a bit slow out of Parabolica, so for him, I don't think is going to improve. Yeah, 125.2, not going to be good enough. So he's going to be all the way back in 25th. So with that, that is going to wrap up Q1 here. You can see there, Ben Fuller going to be moving on at the front of the grid. We'll have to keep an eye on him, as well as teammate Matt Zeke sitting in 2nd place. All these drivers moving on through. Then we head to the next page, and that will show us. Oops, sorry, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There's the next page button. And there you can see right there, Jason Siemens, Emilio Figueredo, Andre Eisenlohr, Alberto Rodriguez, and Leandro Ignardi in the top 15. They will move on. Carlos Coutin, Xavier Bora, Corey Whiting, Pedro Gomez, and Steven Grabowski will all be out, as well as the drivers here on this page. You can see down the order, not going to move on to Q2. So that's going to wrap up Q1. For now, we'll be taking a short little break and getting set up here for Q2 shortly. welcome back here to Q2 here. Sorry for a little bit of delay. I was trying to work on getting the live timing to work, and I was able to get that up and running here. I'm gonna pull up a link on the screen if you would like to follow your favorite drivers and more. If we don't cover them here in qualifying, because we got a few drivers. We have Ronaldo Augusto, they're pulling off to the track, but leading Q2 at the moment, Marco Sanfilippo.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers went out together to put their first laps down, and Marco Sanfilippo was the beneficiary of that, and all that slipstream at 22.786 puts him about half a second in front of Luca Furlick, who's actually the first one out on track, as he's second right now. As almost everyone, the majority of the field's put down laps. Fast drivers like Rafael Mattor and Thomas Zeiger and Ben Fuller are still yet to go, though.
Looking to see if he can improve, and here it is. Here's the link again. Sorry for a little bit of delay, but if you go to simtvbroadcasting.com/live timing, you'll get access to our live timing software here. Glad to have that up and running. Again, sorry for the delay again, but hopefully you'll be enjoying that, being able to follow these drivers as they're making their runs here in Q2. Again, top 10 going to be moving on to Matt Zeke. Again, a bit of the talk into this race. Teammate for Ben Fuller, and definitely has the pace of his teammate.
Yeah, Ben Fuller, I'm pretty sure he was top of Q1 by a decent bit. He's definitely looking like one of the favorites to lead the charge to the victory here. So we'll see what he can do in the race, but he's definitely looking fast with his qualifying speeds right now.
And Ben Fuller, yet to put out a time, is on a run, as well as Tim Matzik here. He's coming through Parabolica right now.
Ben Fuller actually messed up in the turn 1, so he'll have to go around again, as Tim Mansky's going to come to the line here. He's going to put down a 22.693, just not good enough for that second spot. He gets the P2, though. Yep,
so I think that should be good enough to move on. We'll have to see, again, if that time is going to be able to be quick enough to stand as everyone else is making their runs through, especially waiting on Rafael Mattor and Ben Fuller to make their times. You can see them right behind one another here on the back part of the course through the Lesmos.
To each other here, we'll see like what kind of time he can put down here. Looking pretty pacey so far, as we'll see if he can top that off with a decent run here as he's coming down the straight here.
To Ascari they both go, and you're saying Ben Fuller made a mistake this lap, so he's gonna have to go around again to start his next one. You see one of the F1 APS red cars pulling off to the track that I think that was just Andre Eisenlohr, who is not F1 APS red.
Yep, that was Eisenlohr.
He's part of F1 APS Black. Again, that team taking up essentially half the field, so he'll roll back into the track. But for Rafael Mattor, he's coming through Parabolica now, and across the line for him, he will start a lap. He will start a lap.
It must have came out of the pits as Ben Fuller made his mistake. So Ben Fuller, he's not going to restart and get new tires. It's pretty much the second lap on his tires. He didn't really look like he's saving them too much. So we'll see what kind of lap he can put down on the Ward tires, and we'll see what kind of slipstream that Rafael Mattor can get off of them.
Yeah, and again,
if he's close enough.
Yeah, and again, this is also part of an error F1 too, where the tires didn't last a lap or two, and pretty much garbage after that. So you can definitely run these tires for a few laps and still gain some speed, especially as you start putting them back on. But again, all eyes are going to be sitting to that bubble at the moment. Currently, Andre Eisenlohr is sitting just inside in 10th place. Lap time 123.8. Ignore the 117. That would have been a really impressive time. That's getting down to the modern F1 car times.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be 6 seconds ahead of a field, or I think that car is gonna get confiscated. But
he somehow has a F1 2020 car in iRacing.
Pretty much, he either has an actual Mercedes or maybe a pink Mercedes. There's a couple of Mercedes in the field, I think. But see here, even though he is 10th, he's definitely not safe, especially when Rafael Mattor and Ben Fuller haven't put down laps. Saying that, he actually does just get bumped out because Ben Fuller's gone second. And I believe Rafael Mattor has gone up the board too. Yes, he's 6th. So just like that, he's 12th and actually about 2/10 out.
Yeah, there's Rafael Mattor in 6th place, and then Ben Fuller's actually just pulled off the check. I think he's going to sit by and watch the rest of Q2. I think feels pretty confident in that lap time, and I would be too, considering there's a gap from the leaders back to 10th. 1.4 seconds separating them, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, Eisenlohr is actually on his lap right now, I believe, possibly. So we'll see what he can do here.
Yeah,
he's
Jason.
Really got, so he's got a lot of time to make up right now. Leandro Bignardi in P9, looking okay, a couple tenths of a good right now, at least a tenth of a good right now. So He's trying to put down a lap right now. Actually, 24 flat his last time by, so he's trying to go out again. There's still a couple other drivers on the track. Alberto Gonzalez Rodriguez, he's 15th. It's good for Q2, but definitely he's got a lot of work to do to get up into the top 10 right now.
Brunello Sanfilippo is starting a lap with a 2:06 as he comes flying across the line. Jason Siemens, he's coming on in the background here. He's come on in 12th at the moment. Across the line, he will start his lap as well. We'll see if he can start to improve his time with just under 6 minutes remaining here in the session.
Emilio Fernandez Garrido, he only goes 13th at 23.7. He's looking for a lot more time there. 23.214 by Rafael Mattor puts him 7th. I'm not sure if he really gained any time there. Eisenlohr's across the line with a 23.8. That's not going to be good enough. He still has a lot of work to do as he slides into the first chicane. A lot of these guys, it's really losing a lot of time. They're leaving a lot of time on the track.
Yeah, absolutely, and also I wanted to point out too the blank on the board, and I'm seeing some people talk about the blank on the board is Tim Matt Ziegler, and it wasn't able. We have a custom spreadsheet that we use to get the 3 name abbreviations as well as the color coding for the drivers. So unfortunately for Tim, he showed up here. We didn't realize that he was a part of Galithica until we started this up, and I don't know how to use a TVO, at least the editing software, so unfortunately I was trying to see if I can get him on, but wasn't able to. So he's Ben Fuller's teammate for the Galithica, sitting in first position at the moment, and he actually might have just left the session because I think he feels pretty confident in staying inside the top 10. Again, looking at Leandro Bignardi, he's on that bubble spot. 123.4 ran last time through 120. Nope, I'm losing my mind here. Oh, he ran a 123.5. That's the time that's counted. His last lap through, I don't think has counted. However, he had an off track.
So this is his hot lap. This is not his hot lap. This is his out lap right now. So he's gonna try to get a bit more security here. He's got a couple tenths up the road to get close to Rafael Mattor, Ronaldo Augusto, those guys who are decently safe with their times. He's still got a lot of time left on the table in these chicanes and whatnot. So we'll see what he can do here. This is his out lap, by the way.
Looking at Emilio Fernandez Garrido here for him. Gonna come across the line 145 for him, so he's starting his out lap. Or starting his flying lap now. Apologies for that. Ben Fuller in behind, he's also just come out here. I think this might just be for him just to practice for a Q3.
Yeah, we see a lot of different approaches with these guys who are really good to get into this round. We see a couple people already leaving the session. They're just waiting for Q3 to start, and a couple of these guys really just using this as a practice session to get more time on the track to try to get a better feel for how it goes on a longer run.
Looking at Jason Siemens, he's coming through the final corners now. This should be his flying lap across the line for him. It's going to be a 123.3. And that will be good enough for 10th place. Knocks Leandro Bignardi out. Now Bignardi, he's got the pressure. Now he needs to go faster or he's out.
And that was a really fast time by Siemens there. But then again, it is only 10th, and he's still over a second off the leader right now. So he's got to feel a bit frustrated with a time like that. 23.3 is pretty good, but just not enough for this league. A lot of competition here today, and he's probably still got to put down another lap or two to really try to get farther up the board here, because there's still a couple of guys back there that have a chance at getting into this Q3 session. Yeah,
Alberto Rodriguez here in the HIT racing car. He's coming through turn 1 now, and he's gonna start his flying lap. Doesn't have a whole lot of other opportunities left for that car, so he's got to try to put in a solid lap now, or he's gonna be sitting out.
Leandro Bignardi, I'm not sure if this is I think this might be to complete his hot lap. It is a 23.506. It's a decent lap, but not good enough to get by Jason Siemens to get into Q3. So I don't know if he has time to reset, but it doesn't look like he's going to yet. He's got to make that decision now.
I think he figures he might just stay on the track. He can get 2 attempts at a lap that way, so because he's already put in a hot lap, so he has a chance of putting in 2 more here if he needs it. If he makes a mistake this lap, then he can continue on, try to set a 3rd lap in, and we'll see again. He's got to try this hard now, otherwise he's going to be sitting out of Q3. Otherwise, he's going to be starting back probably in 11th. We'll see. Even if the other guys in behind too can improve. Andre Eisenlohr has been pretty quiet session for him, sitting in 14th. He's coming through Ascari right now.
And Alberto Rodriguez, he's trying to put down a better lap. He's got a lot of time to make up. Not a good run out of Parabolica, so we'll see what he can really put down. This is at least his second to last lap. He doesn't have enough time to reset, and it's only a 23.989. He doesn't improve, and he's going to have to hope for probably a miracle, a little bit of luck here on this final lap if he runs it.
I'll have to give an eye if he does improve here. Looking at Jason Simmons as well, last time through, I think he's on a flying lap now, and just to keep himself good. You can never be too safe when it comes to qualifying in. Andrew Bignardi, he comes out of the final corner. Does he improve on this time by 123.1? That's good enough for, that's a really good lap up in 8th place for the 8 car.
That's why you're talking about as Jason Siemens, you can never be too safe, as just like that, he's bumped out, and he's got to gain a couple hundredths on Thomas Zeiger. I don't know if Zeiger's on the track. No, he's not, so Zeiger is not going to have any time to do anything, so Siemens either gets in again, or he's out. I think we were in this situation last week with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he for some reason, Siemens decided, I'm going to make my best attempt at the last possible second. And it played out for him. He ended up in the top 10. The race didn't go that well for him. We'll see if he can turn his fate around this week, especially in qualifying years. He's currently outside looking in. Emilio Garrido across the line for him. He's going to be starting a lap in just so. So he's got one more attempt for Siemens. He comes across the line. This should be a flyer for the 15 car. Barely with any time left in the session. He comes across with a 125.5. He's going to have to continue on. Here we go. Checker flag out. Now the session's complete. Siemens has got one more lap.
It's Andre Eisenlohr. He's going to be the first one across the line to finish this session. He's got to gain a lot of time. He's at only a 23.803. Needs a half a second, and he does not get it. A 6.46 puts him up one spot to 13th, but he's definitely out.
Garrido is still actually on his lap. You saw at the end of that when we pull away that Siemens, he's given up on his attempt, so he's going to be sitting in 11th. Does Emilio Fernandez Garrido, sorry about that. Does he have enough to move himself up into Q3, up into 10th place? It's a lot to ask for here in the late parts of qualifying.
He's got all clean track to work with here. It's looking like a decent lap. 2:03 in the Ascari there. It's one of the faster times I've actually seen by yourself here, so he's really got a fast car right now, fast piece. We'll see if he can gain about, he needs to gain about 4 or 5 tenths. We'll see if he has that somewhere in him.
Yeah, I don't see sector times recorded. I'm a bit concerned if he maybe dirtied a lap somewhere and it didn't count. We'll see here if it will count across the line, or even if it does count, if it's even faster than before. Here he comes across the line for Garrido. 123.722. It's faster, or actually I just corrected to a 704, but it's not enough to improve his position. So that will wrap up Q2 here for Formula 1 qualifying. There you can see your top 10. That will move on to the next session. Tim Madzik, again, teammates with Ben Fuller. They're taking the top 2 spots at the moment, but it's not going to matter. It's going to matter for Q3 for this top 10. Thomas Ziegler, the last driver to make it in. And then moving on to the drivers that were eliminated from this session: Jason Siemens, Bruno Canobas, Andre Eisenlohr, Emilio Fernandez Garrido, and Alberto Gonzalez Rodriguez, all gonna have to sit out of Q3. So with that, we'll cut to another quick break and we'll get set up for Q3. welcome back to Monza here for Q3 now. The pole shootout for our drivers. You see them all on the track getting nice and warmed up here. We're going to see who's going to be starting on pole for the Italian Grand Prix, and it's safe to say, don't entirely know who. It could be the San Filippo drivers from Fratelli Capone Corsa, or it could be either the Galifica drivers, Tim and Matt Zeke, or Ben Fuller. We'll see here who's going to end up on the front row. Qualifying's just now underway. Any idea of who you think who we might see at the top?
I think it's going to be Ben Fuller. He's looked really strong. Had a really fast time in Q1. Obviously didn't really try in Q2. Just made sure he got through to Q3. I think he's going to be the one to beat here in this qualifying. And I love how interesting it is when these guys come out for qualifying here at Monza. Look at all these guys in a row. Luca Ferlich every time. I think every qualifying run to start these sessions, he's been the one leading the pack. As Tim Matzke's all under his diffuser there, and Ferlich just going to let him by. It's a bit of a stack up at the front here. I think one of these guys wanted to draft off the other. No one knows where to go. They're going 3 wide in qualifying.
Yeah, this is looking a lot very similar to what we saw last year for F1. These guys, those guys are going around 80 miles an hour. These guys still flying at over 200 here as they come across the line. It looks like they found an order they were happy with. I think Matt Zeke trying to help Ben Fuller, maybe not. Let's see. Oh boy, 3.
This isn't working together at all.
Reminder,
going against each other.
Reminder to look at the top again. We're in Q3, not in the race. Oh no, it's Ferlich spins, and that's gonna ruin these guys' qualifying runs. Wow, that's interesting stuff here from Monza.
I don't think, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think that was necessary. But
no, it was very much not necessary.
Oh my goodness. They had 10 minutes to go. It's not like they needed to put the lap down for the pole right there. Those guys just did not want to be the ones getting followed.
Try to get a view from the blimp here because this is pretty funny to watch. Here's the blimp view heading down the front straightaway. I hope the pit building's going to get out of the way. There you can see out of the trees, through the grass, or through the trees, sorry. And then down into turn 1, neither driver giving an inch. Around Ferlich went and ruined all their lap times. They still got enough time, though, however, to get back on the track, but safe to say I've never seen that before.
No, that was, I mean, not in sim racing at least. I never thought I'd see that in sim racing. I thought the teammates were going to work together after they got by Luca, but
it looked like Matt Zeke threw a block on Fuller.
That's what it looked like. I don't know if there's any penalties for aggressive driving when it's not even a race. But that's crazy. I've never seen anything like that on iRacing before. It's just because obviously we don't see open qualifying like this in most racing. But that was really odd. I never thought I'd see that.
Didn't know San Felipe who's come across the line to set the drivers at a put down a time. Actually, Ronaldo Augusto immediately going to go faster than him. Rafael Mattor, we've seen be the underdog as far of the top 2 teams we're seeing at the moment being Galifica and Fratelli Capone Corsa. Those are the 2 fastest teams. Mattor trying to break that up for F1 APS goal with a solid time. 1:23.2. We're definitely going to probably see these guys go even faster as the session goes on.
Yeah, for sure we will. As we saw low 22s in the first 2 sessions. I think we probably would have seen that before if we didn't have that scrap down the front stretch, as a couple of these guys like Ben Fuller are coming back onto the track to start new laps and clean laps by themselves with no one around. I think these guys are probably just going to ditch trying to get slipstream and just try to put a clean lap down because they don't really have enough time to mess around like that. We're already 4 minutes in.
Yeah, you're starting to run out of time now, so you can't, as you're saying, you have enough time to recover from that, but not a whole lot more time to play around. General San Filippo, he's setting the pace of drivers putting their runs down, so as he comes back on through, we'll see if he improves. We expect him to here through Parabolic, because we're just now halfway through the session. It almost feels like we just started.
We did just start. I think we wasted a minute or 2 on those guys going 3 wide in qualifying, but San Filippo is probably going to improve, but Ronaldo Augusto might go faster than him. A 23.2 for San Filippo, a 22.7 for Ronaldo Augusto in the slipstream there.
Definitely helped him out a bit. Rafael Mattor, he's also going to go faster with a 1:23 flat pretty much. Tim Matzke, he finally gets a clean lap in, and he goes up to pole position at the moment. He seems sideways into turn 1. Doesn't matter now. Set that. Oh, he actually. Well.
Look out. Who did he get in the way of there? He almost ruined someone's lap there. I think it was Bignardi, maybe?
Yep. No, I think that was Ferlich that might have been. Either Ferlich or Bignardi. A few of those kind of gray, black, and red cars. Actually, a lot of them. Speaking of which, Ben Fuller has gone up to provisional pole.
A 121.8. That's definitely the first 121 we've seen of the 3 sessions, and that is Tim Matzke was half a second over Augusto, and Ben Fuller is pretty much about 4/10 in front of Tim Matzke. So really flyer times putting down right now, and I don't even think Ben Fuller had any slipstream.
Ronaldo Augusto, he's also been showing his chops here in qualifying as he's now working on the straightaway heading down to Parabolica. We'll see again, he's just continued his run zone. He's not reset back to the pit, so he might after this attempt. We'll see here out of Parabolica. Here comes the 2-car across the line, currently sitting to start in row 2. Cross line for him, 122.6 will go even faster, but not good enough to improve his position. The Galithica guys holding really strong up near the top of the board. Again, some other guys coming on through Andrew Bignardi, not able to improve as well. Still waiting on Luca Furlek to put down a time. He's coming down into Parabolica this time through. On through he will go. And across the line for Furlek. Again, we saw him in those shenanigans on the first hot lap of Q3. 123.2 for him, and it didn't count. Oh, no, it did count. Took a while to update. Up into 6th position for him.
A 1/1000th of a second faster than Danilo Sanfilippo. It's also not really high up the order in this Q3, only P6. Ben Fuller actually went faster with a 21.77, so he's way far into the pole position right now. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to get to that time. Marco Sanfilippo trying to put down a lap. I think he's out of a final corner. This might count for his first lap. Not quite, so this is going to be hopefully his flyer lap. We'll see how far up the board he goes.
I'm looking, I see a few more drivers approaching, and it's Thomas Ziegler. He's coming to the line. He's got the Andrew Bignardi sitting right in behind him. These drivers 9th and 8th, hoping to improve their times by quite a bit. We'll see here again. Still yet to see anyone break the 22-second barrier besides Ben Fuller. He's sideways coming out of Parabolica, trying to get the car under wraps. Across the line for Ziegler, it's going to be a 123.8 for him. And that is enough to improve, but not enough to improve his position. Bignardi, same deal there, went faster, didn't improve his spot. Wow, I'm looking at, take a look at this here. I'm not sure. Oh, damn, it just changed. I was looking at Danilo Sanfilippo. He was down only 1,000th off one of the other drivers, but Luca Furlek here, he's in 7th. Look at his time, 123.2. Cody Sandwith went 2,000ths faster than Furlek, and that's his teammate.
That's funny, because I was just saying Sanfilippo was only 1/1000th slower than Luca, so pretty much a bit of a swap there. That's kind of odd. I think we saw a tie for times at Suzuka, which is very interesting, and we're still seeing close times. These drivers are really on top of each other.
Yeah, none of these drivers able to improve one another. Here comes Marco Sanfilippo, interested in seeing where he's going to end up across the line for him. It's going to be a 122.9. It's going to be up into 6th place for him. Still yet, no one else has broken down into the 121s. Are we surprised by that? Do you think maybe we're waiting on someone to finally take the call to go faster?
I don't think so. I think that Ben Fuller's time might stand to be the only 121 times. We're seeing a lot of people in the 122s this session, but yeah, I think Ben Fuller's on his own there. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to go faster than him. It must be frustrating for Marco. At 122, it's a good time. At 122.9, it's really fast, but he's only about 6th, so he's got to find something here. Maybe if he can even, I don't even know if he has enough time to get out on the track if he is on track, which he is. So he'll probably be one of the last people to put down a time here and try to improve.
And you know, Sanfilippo, he's just come across the line. He's improved a little bit, but not his position. He was sitting 4th. It looks like he's going to pull off the track. He is done with qualifying. That's going to be his final attempt. Ben Fuller, he's actually come on through Parabolica. He's got Ronaldo Augusto right ahead. He's gone on by, not improved his time. Matt Zeig next across the line, 122.4 has an improved. Ben Fuller, 122.2 for him. No one has improved their time, and Fuller's sitting with a half a second gap between himself and his teammate in 2nd position. Still waiting on someone to go even faster. Looking, I can see Andrew Bignardi. He's going to be coming back through Parabolica now, and he is going to be coming across the line. Can he beat anyone else that I'm sitting in 9th place across the line for Bignardi?
This is to start his lap, I think.
And barely has enough time to start his lap with just 10 seconds left on the clock. Here comes another driver. A bit surprised to see him this far down the arm. Marco Sanfilippo in 6th place. He's going to come across the line, and I think that might have been Q over for him.
I'm not sure. The checkered flag might have happened after, but that's to start his lap. That is to start his lap. He just barely made it to the line. If it will count, I'm not quite sure.
Looks like he's continuing on a little bit of a little bit sideways into turn 1, so he'll continue on. I guess he counted. We'll see if he can make up anything here. Here comes Ronaldo Augusto leading a train of cars back down to the line. Final attempts for qualifying. Augusto with a really solid time, sitting in 3rd place. Can he hold on to it? Can he improve here? Through Parabolica he will go. Take a look at the lap times. Has to be a 122.6 to go faster, 122.3. And that will not be good enough just to hold him into 3rd place. Improves his time. Matt Zeke, 122.1, doesn't improve. Ben Fuller, currently still sitting on provisional pole. Trying to see anyone else that could come across the line. Rafael Mattor, really good in the first 2 qualifying sessions for him, 122.8. That's gonna only put him still back in 6th place. And then Marco Sanfilippo working through Ascari now. Barely came across the line in time. And he improved. I'm surprised to see him all the way back in 7th. He's got 1 shot to improve it here.
Yeah, he's got about 2/10 to gain. Luca Furlick actually put himself into the top 5. I saw him swerving the wheel after the line. Really happy with that lap. Rafael Mattor couldn't beat him. A bit of a wiggle out of Parabolica for Sanfilippo. A bit of a sloppy lap. Just barely got to the line. We'll see if it's an improvement, though. It is a 22.588.
Wow.
And that puts him all the way up to 4th.
And just in the nick of time, Sanfilippo, that was insane because the timer definitely ticked down to 0. So I think he crossed the line with less than a second left in the clock, and he was able to put a time. That's important. He went from 7th all the way to 4th. So great job for him. But we'll wrap up here qualifying. Starting on pole for the Italian Grand Prix will be Ben Fuller. Great job by him, showing his pace after taking a bit of an off week last week at Suzuka. Back in form, as he'll be starting on pole next to his teammate Matt Zeke in 2nd place. Then moving on back, you got Ronaldo Augusto, Marcus Sanfilippo, your 2nd row, and Nil Sanfilippo rounding out your top 5.
Yep, Luca Furlick, Rafael Mattor, Cody Sandwith, Furlick and Mattor right on top of each other to end their laps as Furlick gets the better of them, drops down to 6th because of Marco's lap. And then Cody Sandwith, he got his way back up to Q3, got into Q3, really good job by him to P8. And Leandro Bignardi and Thomas Zeiger probably disappointed with their showings 9th and 10th, but either way, they got a good starting spot, but they got to be careful because they're going to be in the mid-pack into the first chicane.
Yeah, and we're definitely have to be able to. We're definitely going to watch and see what happens down into that first run to turn 1 with 28 cars. We'll take a little bit of a break and we'll be back for the start. Italian Grand Prix. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
father's father had two brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his two brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Would you like to have a career in racing, and if so, what would you like to do, Dale?
Well, I want to be a race car driver someday. That's, it's all I've ever known, racing.
What did you want to be when you grew up? So many people live a life of what if. Go to school, go to college, get a 9-to-5. This is how we support our dreams, with a safety net. Because we're unsure about taking a leap of faith. Because we're afraid. As we grow, we cross things off our list of dreams. We cut them down, make them realistic. Having control of things is reassuring. But for some, the rush of being out of control is what gives them life. Some say racing cars is reckless. Maybe they're right. Out of bounds isn't just cheating, it's cheating death. Football fields made up in seconds. Decisions made in instants. For the people that climb behind the wheel of these cars, they're not driving it. They become part of it. It's an extension of the body. As a child, I looked up to these people, faces hidden by helmets. The less you saw of the driver, the more believable it became that they were, in fact, just part of the machine. It's easy to forget that inside the cockpit is someone just like us, but with the mindset that fear is a motivation, not a barrier. But the reality is, race car drivers are not like us. They never cross anything off their list of dreams. They just keep writing more. Daytona.
This is the finish of the Daytona 500. Side by side.
Le Mans. Indianapolis. Monaco. Places that used to be just places, now international symbols of victory. To those that enjoy the spectacle of racing, the 2 feet of concrete and steel cables are a wall between us and them, between sitting in the grandstands and standing in victory lane. These same walls are a stark, immovable reminder that racing drivers put their lives on the line for the sake of the thrill and entertainment. Despite the risk, despite the heartbreak, despite the cost. There are some on the sidelines who are fascinated by the danger. They are fascinated by speed, fascinated by the undying desire to be just a little bit better. Their dreams erased by geography, finances, or the lack of a famous last name. There are some who once wished to be a race car driver, but aren't, because they didn't get the chance. And they thought they'd spend the rest of their lives watching their heroes on television, or from the other side of the fence. They thought it was impossible to climb into a race car, so they crossed it off their list. But it's not impossible. There is a ticket to the other side of the fence. For those who want it bad enough, this is your chance.
After touring all over the world, to the United States, to Brazil, then to Japan, and now to Italy. We've been all over, and now the first race of the European part of the season, we find ourselves at Monza, Italy. This is a great racing facility. It's been around for many years, and again, hopefully many years to come. It's a fantastic racetrack, going to lead to a lot of overtakes and a lot of incidents tonight, but one thing is definitely for sure, going to be a lot of action here at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix for Formula I in their Formula 1 season. My name is Finny DeCuna here with Connor Horn. And Connor, glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited to see all the racing that's going to be going on today. A lot of drivers in this F1 field. We only didn't see too much action in the F3 field, which was a bit short, but this F1 field's got a lot of talented drivers. A lot of drivers up there that can actually take the victory away. And we saw no incidents into the first chicane in F3. I'm wondering if this F1 race goes a little bit worse. I think almost close to 30 cars today. It might be interesting.
Definitely will be. You can see there, Monza, Italy, the track at least constructed in 1922, almost 100 years old, very much coming up close to that birthday. See Monza itself, 11 turns, 5.79 kilometers in length. Very long track, but a fairly long track, but considering how long the straights and how much on throttle time there is, makes the laps pretty short. The original circle was constructed in 1922 by 3,500 workers. A lot of those guys went to work, and glad that they did, because it's an extremely iconic track, one of the most famous in Europe. And again, glad to be here. As you can see, these guys out here for a warm-up here, which is just about to end. Nice cool day as well. Air temp 65, track temp also 67 degrees, so pretty much as cool as it's gonna get. I'm sure these guys are definitely gonna be enjoying it, especially considering how loose we've seen some of these guys here coming out of turns, especially out of Parabolica.
Yeah, we saw a lot of drivers struggle to get the power down out of Parabolica to get to the run to the line. We saw, especially in Q3, we saw a lot of drivers struggle with that. So we'll see if that's a factor in the maybe in the slipstream in this race. We'll see how many drivers really struggle with getting the power down today.
Absolutely. Here is qualifying, or sorry, not qualifying. I'm so used to qualifying coming for the race. Qualifying already ended here. We'll bring up your grid in just a moment. Warm up about to end here as we get ready for the race here at Monza. Is going to be a fantastic one to watch. Definitely can't wait to get this underway. Going to have just about an hour's worth of action here, if I'm not mistaken. 37 laps set for the Grand Prix, and then finally we tick over here and we got gridding in just a bit. Go down to it as well. Trying to see if I can find my conveniently placed starting camera. Have it there, and there we go. Ben Fuller again starting on pole. Tim Matt Zeke starting in second next to him. Lining up that front row. In the second row and behind, Ronaldo Augusto lined up in third. Marco Sanfilippo in fourth. Danilo Sanfilippo in fifth. And Luca Furlick in sixth.
Rafael Mattor 7th with Cody Sandwith on that 4th row. Leandro Bignardi 9th. Thomas Zeiger in 10th, rounding out Q1's drivers. Jason Siemens barely missed out in 11th, and Bruno Canova is trying to look for a good run again. He's 12th.
You're not going to go through the rest of the grid. We simply do not have the time for it here. As the guys lined up here, the clock ticking down, just 8 seconds left on gridding. As we get ready for the race, the red lights are going to come on right here. Drivers waiting for them to extinguish to begin the Grand Prix here. Engines revved. And here we go, the lights are out and off they go. Down into turn one, you're going to see the guys peeling off for their starts. The teammates up in front leading the field on down into turn one for the first time.
Pretty organized start at the front, maybe not 3 wide for third into the first chicane. That's not going to work, but it did. They keep it saying no!
The Sanfilippo drivers collide down in turn one. Not sure who got sent off. And I think that was Marco. Marco Sanfilippo got sent off all the way back down the order as we got the first few rows clean and away. That's not a good start for that team.
That's the worst start you could possibly have. The #1 rule for a team is to not take out your teammate, and that's what Danilo Sanfilippo just did. Not just your teammate, your relative. I don't remember what the relation is, but taking out someone you're probably close to. That's not a good start for them at all.
And more contact as well. Big amount of contact heading down. Oh, you can still see some guys hitting into each other.
Augusto.
Yeah, Alberto Rodriguez, Emilio Garrido, Davi Iborra, and Fabio Cavati I saw got involved with one another, but looking the rest of the field coming through Ascari now. Yeah, interesting first lap to say the least. You saw the F3 race be pretty clean, a little bit of a mess in the first chicane. But that second chicane, man, that's caught a lot of people out.
Yeah, yeah. We saw the same thing in F3. We actually saw him go clean in the first chicane in F3. That second chicane was a real big problem, as we see. I'm looking at right now. Sanfilippo actually just made a double overtake on Patrick Woodstrup and Carl Fleminster, trying to get back up the field already. We're seeing a lot of people already struggling early. A lot of people struggled to get onto the brakes in these chicanes. Obviously, this is lap 1. We've already seen chaos.
Yeah, it's still probably going to be some chaos here, especially for Marcus Sanfilippo trying to drive his way up into the points. Has the pace to do so. It's just a matter of getting the pass done. Look at how much speed he's carrying down into turn 1. 350 kilometers an hour it showed there for a second. As he's getting deep on the brakes, going to find himself in behind Charlie Bass, who also been moving up a few spots after the start. 25th to 17th for the 94 machine. See how much more he can go here. Up ahead of them, a bit of a battle going on for 11th place of Bruno Canovas, who didn't have a good start. Carlos Cato fighting with him side by side.
Yeah, Cato trying to get through there, isn't able to make that work. He's all the way up through a couple spots already. As I think Talis Toledo's right behind him, trying to make some good inroads after not the best qualifying. 22nd to about 13th or 14th already.
These guys really close together. Looking at Jason Siemens from 11th all the way up into 8th place. He's been having a pretty solid start for himself right in behind. You can hear the engine, too, of Andre Eisenlohr, who's hounding him from behind in Ascari.
Yeah, really all over him right now. Siemens just trying to hold on for the time being right now. So we're seeing a lot of really good action through the field already with a bunch of drama here and there. Siemens really trying to pull away from these couple of guys as Eisenlohr is under attack from Zeiger.
Zeiger now going to be lined up down the straightaway. Nova, look, you already see the run that he's got here on Eisenlohr. They barely passed the start-finish line. There they go now side by side, duking it out for 9th place.
They're going to be dead even into the first chicane into turns number 1 and 2 here. They're still going to be side by side. Zeiger can't make the move done, but he just squeezes Eisenlohr pretty much onto the high curve, and he's got the move done for 9th.
And we'll get on by, and again, wanted to point out too, didn't get a chance to cover it, but again, if you're unaware of the blank spot we have on our standings of the way we run things through a TVO, that's Tim Matt Zeke has started very well, started in 2nd place, still running there, with Ben Fuller obviously leading from pole position up ahead, both teammates 1st and 2nd. At the moment, they already got a solid lead, 4 seconds to Luca Furlick in 3rd.
Yeah, right behind him, Danilo Sanfilippo, who obviously got into it with his teammate. I've said it many times already, how much he dominated last week at Suzuka. No one could touch him, but pretty much back down to reality, back down to earth here, running 4th, trying to get to that podium spot, as Luka Frlich has actually been on the podium. He was on the podium last week at Suzuka, and now it's Sanfilippo trying to get that podium position back. We'll see what he can do here, but definitely does not have the pace as he did last week.
Yeah, Bruno Canovas here is one of the closer cars to the car up ahead, trying to get to Andre Eisenlohr to get himself into the points. And again, for Canovas, F1 part of F1 APS Red, that team currently sitting nicely 2nd place in the standings. His teammate Ronaldo Augusto, I think, had some issue on the opening lap. Indeed, he's all the way back into 28th place. Not been a good start for that team in particular. It's neither driver in the points at the moment.
Trying to watch another battle. This is for 13th. Marco Sanfilippo was under attack from Silvio Brizola. Brizola couldn't make that work. Sanfilippo is going to try to get the work on Talis Toledo. That's for 12th. Sanfilippo slowly but surely in these earlier laps after his incident turns 1 and 2, trying to make his way back up.
I just saw Cody Sandwith and Rafael Mattor here side by side into the second chicane, looking at the replay of that pass move. Mattor up into 6th place ahead of Sandwith.
Yeah, we know Mata's got the speed, but he hasn't made up too many spots. It's actually the first spot he's made up, 7th to 6th now. Sandwith is he's only gained 1 spot now, as he's got Jason Siemens trying to chase him down. It's actually Jason Siemens breaking a draft from Thomas Zeiger, really trying everything he can to hold him off right now, as we see also Eisenlohr and Canovas right next to each other still. And
also an update on Marcus Sanfilippo, just got past Talis Toledo up into 12th place, so he's slowly working his way to getting back in the points. It's a great recovery drive for the 13. Never give up and always push, and so far that 13 still pushing his way up to the front. There you can see at the bottom of the frame, Bruno Canovas and Andre Eisenlohr heading nose to tail into Parabolica.
Yeah, Sanfilippo's still got a lot of time to make up, especially when he's not going to have any slipstream on Canovas and Eisenlohr. He's got a lot of work to do, but I think he's got the pace advantage over those two to still get there, even without the slipstream, especially if these two guys start battling like I expect them to.
And up ahead, you can see right there, we just saw the pass. Danilo Sanfilippo past Luca Frlich for 3rd. Frlich still not done yet, trying to find a way around, maybe an entry into the second chicane. Looks like it might not be enough. Do we see a late dive? Nope. He will sit in behind for 4th.
Yeah, smart move to not go for a bit of a dive bomb there. I think he knows that Danilo is a bit faster right now. It's a bit lucky because Sanfilippo pretty much he bullied his teammate out of a way accidentally there, and he didn't look like he got no sort of damage out of it. So really lucky there, but he's still going to be able to get, you know, obviously he's going to still be able to have a really good chance at a podium here. Yeah,
absolutely, and a really solid job by Canovas Garbas Eisenlohr. He's up a spot into 10th place at the moment. Some great battles going on. We're loving the way this track's playing out at the moment. This team is trying to hold off Thomas Ziegler, and behind Ziegler, hounding the back of that 15 car as you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, Siemens is pretty much trying everything he can to make sure he keeps Ziegler behind him right now. He was breaking the draft, not breaking the draft here, as Ziegler doesn't really have the run on him to make a dive into Parabolicas. But I think this is going to be a trouble spot for Siemens. He's been getting better runs out of this final corner, but I don't think it's going to work because Ziegler's going to have such a big run here. We'll see if he goes for the dive.
And also an update too for these drivers here as they see them side by side heading down up. I'm going to pull that off the screen for just a second as you see Ziegler not going to make a dive. And I'll pull this back up. If you want to watch these guys live as they run, go to simtvbroadcasting.com/live timing, or you can follow the live timing and scoring we have set up for all your favorite drivers, and all 29 of them still running in the race.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, we saw crashes, but not a lot of retirements.
Oh, Siemens gonna blow through the second chicane. Oh, and Ziegler spinning.
Wow.
Both drivers making mistakes.
That came out of nowhere. They're right next to each other. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was going into a Scari, maybe?
No, this is going to the second chicane here. Yeah, and there you can see Siemens just bails out. He knows he's not going to make the corner. Ziegler just spun it here on exit. Had to lock it up and went a little bit sideways, so he's going to lose. Both drivers are going to lose some time. More so Ziegler as he drops all the way back to 12th place.
That's just more chances at better points for Marco Sanfilippo.
And also, hey, I just want to ride on board. Watch the rear end of Ziegler's car heading through a Scari right here.
Definitely did not get the rear tires cooled down at all there.
With a little less bad, it didn't look as bad on the onboard, but man, he went there sideways, saw a puff of smoke as well, so Chill's trying to carry on back in 12th, but up ahead, up the road, Rafael Mattor in the end of Bignardi trying to go at it for 5th place now.
And Marco Sanfilippo going for that 10th position to get into the points yet again on Andre Eisenlohr. Eisenlohr can't really do anything there. Sanfilippo back up into the points in P10. He's not got too far up the road, up back to Jason Siemens and Bruno Canovas, as Canovas actually goes into the grass.
Let's check at him here as you see Mattor and Bignardi heading into the second chicane. Bruno Canovas seeing what happened to him.
He just, it was out of a turn. He was pretty much clean. I'm not sure. He just kind of drove off the track here.
Oh. I wonder if he was checking maybe something in his black box, wasn't looking at the screen, and just you didn't kind of go into the term of muscle memory. Was a bit off there. Lucky you didn't end up crashing. That would have been embarrassing.
It was definitely close, that's for sure.
See Jason Siemens running to the side here, entering Scari, catch some grass, is gonna go flying through.
Wow.
Almost wiped out completely, lost a lot of time. Here comes Bruno Canovas here on the back, gonna peel out a dart to the left side of the track, both of them side by side, heading to Parabolica.
And it just looks like Canovas doesn't really have the speed. He didn't have the speed advantage there to stay on his outside through Parabolica, but he's definitely gonna have to draft down this front straightaway into a first chicane. As Siemens has really been trying to defend. I think he was really aggressive at Suzuka last week, as he's being aggressive again with his...
Here comes Marco Sanfilippo. He's in the battle here. Almost looked like he was going to make a 3Y entering the first chicane, but I think he knows better than to do that. That's a recipe for disaster, as you see Canovas and Siemens side by side. They almost make contact. Canovas on, and here comes Marco now hounding the back of Siemens.
Yeah, Marco was really patient there not to get on the throttle too hard, just trying to let these guys battle out and pass whoever loses the battle, but Siemens is not giving up. He's going to go to the inside.
Peel away just for a second to Siemens. A big dive into Canovas and going to go up and over the curbs and is still going to hold on to the spot. How about that? Not done yet into Lesmo 1. You see Ziegler in the background sideways. Canovas going to get the spot into Lesmo 1. And here comes Sanfilippo now trying to look up the inside. Some excellent battling going on here.
And really patient driving by Marco yet again. He is not risking his car again after how lucky he got to not get crashed out in the first wreck in the turn number 1. He's just riding behind Siemens there. Now he goes to the inside. Siemens just lets him go. He knows that Sanfilippo is way faster, and Jason Siemens probably already wore his stuff out with how hard he was battling.
Yeah, let's go up ahead because we missed it for just a second. I cut away. I didn't think we would see anything else heading to the second chicane, but boy, it was iron. It was Rafael Mattor and Sandwith, I believe, up ahead. That's what we were looking at previously. And then right in behind, there you see Siemens, that big dive to the inside. And look at this, up and over the curbs.
I wonder if he got a slowdown for it or something. He let Marco by, but it didn't seem like he really slowed down much. Oh, someone spun behind them. Who was that who spun behind them?
I'm not sure. I'll take a look back and see, but this is just a replay quickly of how Siemens went up and over the curbs. That was a fantastic job there. Keep that car under control.
Siemens just spun out into turn number 1, and he's going to collect Andre Eisenlohr as well.
A wreck down into turn 1, one of the first ones you've seen so far other than at the start of the race. Here's a look back at the replay. Siemens just got in too hot, and the car looped around on him. And for Eisenlohr, actually was able to avoid contact.
I think he did hit him, but I think it was the classic iRacing netcode. He might have gotten lucky with that.
Right on board. This is on board with Andre Eisenlohr. Yeah, just a little bit of a touch, but nothing too bad. You just slowed down quite a bit in time, and it's going to continue on through in 10th, the final points-paying position.
And meanwhile, I'm trying to look up at the front. Rafael Mattor still 6th, Cody Sandwith 7th, as the 2 leaders, Ben Fuller, Tim Matkey. They're pretty much, they're not separated by too much, about 3 seconds, maybe a bit more, 3.5 seconds, but those two are pretty much gone from Danilo Sanfilippo, who's about 12 seconds back from Fuller.
Yeah, and taking a look back up at Amada, you were just talking about these guys in a line here, some lap cars also up the road as well. Trying to look ahead of Bignardi, there you can see that is, I don't think that's Luca Furlick, he's further up the road right there. And 2 lap cars. Yeah, there's a battle for position right up ahead of them. That's one of the HIT cars, if I'm not mistaken, heading to turn 1. And Bignardi and company approaching this battle.
Yeah, the battle for 5th and the battle for 26th. I think you can pick which one's a bit more important right now. But Leandro trying to get by these guys quickly. Xavier Bora actually lost a lot of ground there. I think he's just going to let Leandro go by on the outside. He's going to let him by, but it might really hold up Matza here.
Oh, Bignardi sideways into the chicane, and around he goes as well as Corey Whiting off the track as well, synchronized spinning down into the chicane. We'll see what happened to them. Right on board with Bignardi, what he saw.
He's looking at the back here. He's just right behind here, just pretty much riding here as he sees him slide, and he seems loose before he even got into the corner to turn in.
Yeah, might have been following Whiting on entry, and I think Whiting sent it in too hard. Bignardi did as well, and it's a big thing as a driver. You might think you're not distracted by the guy up ahead the way they're driving, but you're always subconsciously looking at where they go into the corner. So unfortunately for Bignardi, went in too hot and going to fall back to 9th.
And meanwhile, Marco Sanfilippo still charging up to the front yet again. He's by Cody Sandwith. If I'm not mistaken, that might be for 6th, or it might be for 6th now. I'm not completely sure. Yeah, Rafael Mattor's 5th. So put Sanfilippo up to 6th. He's still, at this rate, he's still got a really good chance at maybe getting close to the podium. He's only 10 seconds back, and he's setting a really good pace.
Yeah, and he's only 1 second in behind Rafael Mattor. Then it's a bigger gap to some of the other front runners in the order. But for Marco Sanfilippo, what a drive forward for this man.
Yeah, we knew he had the speed, just got really unfortunate with that first lap crash, but he is showing that he deserves to be up there for sure. He is charging right now.
Yeah, fairly quiet up near the front of the field. Ben Fuller still leading the race over his teammate Tim Matzik. Again, the blank spot on the board. Running pretty well for himself up in 2nd place. Nothing really to report on here except these 2 teammates dominating this race so far. Danilo Sanfilippo, teammate and relative to Marco Sanfilippo, running pretty well up in 3rd, so he's completing that final spot on the podium. Then it's a bit further back to Luca Furlick back in 4th, 3 seconds behind. Let me find Rafael Mattor, and wow, already Marco Sanfilippo, side by side into Ascari. We'll get the spot.
He went too far in, but he was able to make it work. Good job getting on the brakes. What a pass there by Sanfilippo. We saw him being patient, a little bit of aggressiveness shown from him to get into the top 5.
See if Mata's got a bit of a run here heading into Parabolica. He does. He's going to look up the inside here side by side for these 2 drivers.
He's going to really push out of Parabolica onto the curbing there. He's going to lose a lot of time. I don't think he's going to have any shot at Sanfilippo. Marco's just got a blistering pace compared to the guys that he's passed.
Let's take a look at that pass down into Ascari, because that was awesome to watch here. See the run down here under the bridge they go here. They come side by side. Just blew him on by on entry, and then got on the curb, but was still able to save it, so great job done.
Yeah, he really overshot it, but he was able to get it slowed down pretty calmly there. Good job by him. Like we said, back into the top 5, setting times comparable to the leaders. Actually, only a little bit slower than Luca Furlick, who's on his own right now. There's a bit of a battle for 23rd there. I think right now there's only 2 people who have retired from the race. Raminho Soares and Corey Whiting are out right now.
Close battle going on between Cody Sandwith and Rafael Mattor. Mattor still out of the second chicane. Sandwith almost made a move on him, but wasn't able to get it done. But here they come out now down the straightaway. You can see the DRS signs. No DRS in these older F1 cars in the 2010 era. Just before they added DRS, but still you can see the slipstream. You don't really need DRS here.
You don't even need him now. The slipstream's so strong. DRS is just an added advantage. These 3, Sandwith, Mata, and Canovas, they've been together for a while now. Also, Leandro Bignardi trying to catch back up. Actually, Bignardi into the grass there out of the scar. He wrecked it.
He was on way off screen.
Yeah, he's actually the situation he was in. He messed up and he had to catch back up to the guys battling in the mid-pack last week at Suzuka. Definitely a bit earlier for him. It's a bit earlier this race. He has time to catch up, but it seems like he's really struggling with getting the power down.
Looking out the rear wing from Rafael Mattor, one of the closer battles on the track at the moment. You see Cody Sandwith and Bruno Canovas trying to chase him on down. Weren't able to make up that much time down the straightaway, but a lot of time on entry.
Yeah, really good entry there, and these guys really get bunched up. And they're going to be staying a little bit bunched up out of that corner there. Sandwith's going to have a bit of a run, a bit too far back for a dive bomb, I would assume, but you just never know.
Yeah, just about a third of the way through the race here. 39 laps on the board. Thought I saw somewhere it was 37.
Oh, Sandwith's off.
Oh no, and off to the grass doesn't loop it, but will definitely lose out on position and time. We'll see what happened to him here entering the second chicane up. Just got too much curb.
Yeah, just too much curb and couldn't really handle it. Good job staying out of that tire barrier over there, but he lost a lot of time, and he's actually falling back into the clutches of Leandro Bignardi now. Also, Eisenlohr's there.
Yeah, so you saw we essentially had 2 groups of cars here up inside the top 10, 8th, 9th, and 10th now together. 6th and 7th still sorting themselves out.
And also another battle, pretty sort of meaningless, but it's kind of funny that 22nd through 24th are in a bit of a group right now. They're all 1 lap down battling for something.
Yeah, Carl Flemister, one of the series admins, he's fighting with Patrick Wittstrup, teammate to Jason Siemens, who's having a much better day up near in 12th, just outside of the points, but close to potentially get there. Wittstrup now making a move on Flemister here, heading down into turn 1, not able to get it done though.
Because Flemister really slow out of that corner, really checks them up, as they're gonna have to get out of Marco Sanfilippo's way once he gets there. Mata by himself right now. Not much pressure from Bruno Canovas for that 6th position, just trying to cruise away from him, as Sandwith is trying to cruise back away from the guys he fell back to.
Checking out with those drivers up near the front here. Sandwith checking out, as you're saying now. Bignardi and Eisenlohr about to go at it. Canovas and Mata still separated.
Whoa! Oh, sorry, Eisenlohr really sent it into that chicane. I thought he was going to kill Bignardi there. That was way too close.
Yeah, heart attack there. You see, oh yeah, he came in very hot. Wow, okay, that camera angle did not do that justice.
Oh, he's got some good brakes there, that's for sure. Wonder if he got him from Mercedes.
Oh, wow, and he still made the corner too, which is even more impressive.
That's pretty close. Maybe Bignardi really checked up that quarter, I'm not sure, but Eisenlohr made Bignardi's light flash before his eyes.
Checking up there a little bit further up. Bruno Canovas has not been able to close in to Rafael Mattor. Are we a bit surprised by this, or maintain that second gap, but hasn't made inroads?
Yeah, Mata really only fell back to him because of the mistake he made out of Parabolica, and Mata's just trying to pull away now. Very hard to pull away if you got a guy in the slipstream behind you. But I don't think Canovas really has much of an advantage in the slipstream. Really, not much faster down the straightaway than Rafael Mattor. So Mata had a lot of pace last week. I think he'll be able to pull away here at some point, as long as he doesn't go off track again.
Trying to look at some other close battles. Field slowly starting to spread out, but still some decent battles going on. Ronaldo Augusto, his incident on the opening lap here, which I kind of want to take a look at some point. He's working on Don Day at the moment, teammate to Carl Flemister. Battle for 18th is what we're looking at here on screen.
Yeah, I remember seeing him turned around. I still don't know where. I know where it was on the track. I'm just not sure how it happened. All I know, he was just sideways on the track, and he had nowhere to go, and he wasn't getting going. I don't know if he reset or what, but
yeah, you know
he's down the order, and I don't know if he's even going to be able to get to the points. We'll see here, but he is setting good times.
Yeah, you know what, actually, we're just gonna quickly try to take a look here. I'll just reset it back to the first lap here, and we'll see what happened. I'm also curious if he was involved in the incident down into that first chicane. Or sorry, the second chicane is what I meant.
He actually just got lapped by Ben Fuller as well.
Here you'll see also a replay of the start of the race here. And then, oh, there's some action going.
I think that's Xavier Bora, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, one of the two cars. This is, again, that action we saw down. You saw there's Marco Sanfilippo going off the track, and he got really lucky, all things considered, that he didn't get more damage to that car, was able to immediately get back on and drive up. Trying to see if I can find where is Ronaldo Augusto. There's Augusto right there up near the front.
I wonder if this is on his own here, because I don't think there's anyone out of the race that's around him that ends up wrecking. It must have been... It was after the second chicane for sure, so we see all that pile up in that second chicane.
Those are these guys working their way on through. Go a little bit further back. Oh yeah, this is okay. So this is what caused that pile up that we missed off screen the first time we looked at it here. And oh yeah, 4 cars getting wiped out right there, and teammates as well. Oh, and there's one of the other cars, though, one of the F1 APS. Forgot which variant of F1 APS that is.
Purple or pink, I think we can guess.
I think that's supposed to be silver. I'm not quite sure.
I'm not quite sure either. I'm trying to see one of those. I forget which team that is. But one of those drivers. It was either Fernandez Garrido or his teammate. I'm not quite sure who his teammate is, but one of those guys really sent it in and caused all that.
Yeah, this is looking at Ronaldo Augusto. He's still up here near the front, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say something happened to him heading down a Parabolica. Let's see here. If not, we'll go back live. But, oh, he went off track there.
Still not a problem. I thought it was the first lap where he crashed, but I'm not quite sure now.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, so... I guess with that, we'll go back live here.
Just, I thought I was about to have to yell for Ben. I was watching Ben Fuller. He actually went wide in Ascari, but he does a good job of keeping it on. Augusto is pretty much following him now, lap down. He's still pulling away from Tim Matzke right here. About 7 seconds all of a sudden. It was about 4 or 5. I'm not sure if something happened to Matzke. He did run a 24.5 last time. I'm not quite sure. Those two are really starting to separate right now.
Ronaldo Augusto all the way back up. I think we might have just lost Ronaldo Augusto. He just splashed and... Uh-oh. Long one.
Yeah, his race has pretty much been going nowhere. Up to 17th, but a lap down. It was going to be hard for him to get back any points. If he doesn't come back, it's definitely going to end those hopes.
I think we definitely lost the two of Ronaldo Augusto, and I think he's gonna probably be happy to, I guess, in some ways happy to take an early break, because as you're saying, he wasn't really looking like he might have been able to get back up in the points. Looking at Andre Eisenlohr up the road, he's trying to fight with Leandro Bignardi here. These guys have been next to each other for quite a while, trying to break himself further into the points.
Yeah, kind of the same situation with Canovas and Mata. They're right next to each other, but neither of the guys in behind can really catch up at all, so really tough. Really tough in the dirty air sometimes to really make up any ground, and yes, that is Ronaldo Augusto's internet pretty much going down into the bin, so that's definitely his race done. Is Carlos Cato, who's in 22nd, going through a bit of a gravel off-road action there. He keeps it on. Not much damage there, but yeah, these guys like Canovas in 7th, and Bignardi's actually gone off. Oh. And Eisenlohr spun.
Oh, we're just
out of nowhere.
I was just gonna look at what happened with Caton, but this is right up at, actually this is right ahead of what happened with Carlos Caton. You actually see him up in the distance. He's gonna be a car off track. There he is in the grass. He goes off the track. Bignardi goes in by, so he wasn't involved in this, but is heading down into, I think, yeah, right here. He goes off the track, and who'd you say spun?
Eisenlohr right behind him made even an even bigger mistake. Bignardi hit too much of a curb here, and Eisenlohr just spun. He got too much curb, but he couldn't save it.
See right there, spun off the track. And it's kind of amazing. You always think, and usually you think the first chicane is the big trouble spot, but if anything, between both the F3 and the F1 race, it's been that second one that's caught many of these drivers off guard.
Yeah, that second one's really been the problem today. Meanwhile, some of the leaders are in. Luca Furlick is in for his pit, and also Cody Sandwith is also into the pits.
So Luca Furlick will come back out. He will be shot back out in 11th place, it seems. So he'll continue on with his car fully serviced. And interested in seeing how this is going to play out for him as we're just at halfway this time by. So that's where we're seeing some pit stops occur now in the race. You're saying?
Sorry, there's a stack up into the first chicane. Leandro Bignardi actually got wrecked by Grabowski into the first chicane.
Trying to see if there's any damage to Bignardi. It looks like not. As you see, that's Carlos Couto, I think, again, off the track slow. It is, so he'll continue on. It's not been a good race for the 31 back in 23rd place.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. Thomas Ziegler and a couple...
Oh!
Yeah, oh my... Whoa!
They are dropping like flies now. Out of Lesmo 2 will Ziegler go around. He's going to get towed back to the pits. Not sure what happened here.
Yeah, ever since he was in that first chicane incident, that lap, he was really upset with Steven Grabowski, the lap car who kind of caused all that. He was just driving angry, and I'm pretty sure after he spun here, he was just over it.
Descended too hard into Lesmo 2 off the track. Try to get back on the gas. No traction, and around he went. Started back in the pit, so as you're saying, looks like he's going to call it a day here. And we'll see if he gets back on the track. It's kind of unlikely. Danilo Sanfilippo, he's done with pit stops for the day, as well as he's come in for his stop. So be good to carry on here. And interesting seeing, if the fresher tires will help these guys. You saw them struggle to make some passing in the later part of the run. We'll see if that improves now with the pit stop.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make any sort of ground. This isn't like last week where the leader and Danilo was really far out front. I mean, Tim Askey is 8 seconds back of Ben Fuller, but he might be able to, if he does it right, he might be able to get some sort of undercut on it. We'll see here, but it's gonna have to be a really large undercut to try to make any ground up as Matsky's in. And Ben Fuller, he just follows Ben Fuller in as well.
Yeah, not too surprised to see those guys working together there. Running very well at the moment, looking off the back, the rear wing of Rafael Mattor to Bruno Canovas, 4th and 5th at the moment as they run. Interested in seeing between these two who's going to come down pit road first. Or if both of them will come down together. I can't imagine they're going to continue too much longer. And there you see Canovas, he's going to dart to the pit lane. Mattor is going to stay out one more lap.
That could be the difference for that position. You never know. A one-lap undercut, especially when you're that close to each other, that might be the difference in getting 6th or 5th or not.
Yeah, looking at Andre Eisler, one of the few other drivers to not come into pit lane, he will do so. That leaves pretty much Mattor and Flavio Clavati in the 71 machine. Those are the only drivers to not come down pit road yet to make their stop. So we'll see how that's going to work for them. There you see Matt Zeke, you're talking about him. He's come into pit road, gotten his service back out on the track, running just about 6 seconds off of Ben Fuller's. So he's having a good day for himself.
And hopefully here he doesn't get held up too much by Rafael Mattor, as Mattor's in between these two now, not making his stop yet. So we'll see if Mattor comes in this lap or not, as he's up the order. But
I think he's going to have to, especially again considering the fact that he's fighting with Bruno Canovas and he's now got fresher tires. That could be the difference. It might not be. We'll have to see.
Yeah, he kind of got to respond, or else if he doesn't respond this lap, he's basically giving up that position. I mean, there's time for him to get back up into that position if he has fresher tires, but I think you got to respond now.
Again, Jason Seaman started 11th, up into 10th at the moment, still waiting on a few to come down pit road. And Jim Ignardi sitting in behind. He's had a wild day so far, just sitting outside of the points in 11th.
You see Rafael Mattor coming off the final corner as he is not going to pit, so he is going to stay out another lap, maybe try a bit of an overcut. I'm kind of surprised by it, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well here, and I'm trying to look where he is, Bruno Canovas. He's now gonna come across the line. I want to say this is will be a decent lap. Let me check his lap time real quick and see. Nope, that's not what I wanted to check. Alright, okay. I was gonna try to compare the lap times, but his lap time's still counting as an out lap.
We'll see right here, maybe. I'm not sure if he came out of the pits on this lap. I don't think he did, but we'll see.
No, he did.
Yeah, so we'll see maybe next lap. Mattor ran a 125 flat last time, so we'll see. I guess we'll see how much time Canovas does make up on his one fast lap here. If Mattor doesn't come in next time, he didn't come in last time. I feel like he has to come in next time.
Yeah, so just a little look at at least Sector 1 here. That'll give us some sort of indicator here between these two drivers. So for Mattor, 28.4 through Sector 1 for Bruno Canovas. He's now going to be approaching the sector line. And we'll see if he's faster or slower than Rafael Mattor up in second place at the moment with some fresher tires. Here they come to the line.
No.
It was slower.
Actually, a bit slower. So that's interesting to see. What was Mattor's Sector 2 time? Because we probably won't get a Sector 3 time if he pits here. 29.1. As he's coming around, I think he is coming in. Yep, here he comes.
29.1 for Canovas. He's got to beat that here, and that's going to be the next time line is heading into Ascari. Will be so again. 29.1 is what the Sector 2 time that Canovas has got to beat if he wants to make up time. Was slower in Sector 1 and through Sector 2 now. Ooh, faster by
half a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he pretty much made that time up. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get by Rafael Mattor here, as Mattor's actually putting on his tires right now, and Mattor's already out of his pit stall, so yeah, he's already coming out of a pit, Mattor is, so I don't think, no, it's not even close, actually.
He's coming out, and you can't even see there, Canovas, there he is finally coming into frame. Not sure what's with the big discrepancy. You can see Mattor, he spent, here's the only really thing that I can see, he's pit road time for, stop time, sorry, for Mattor, 7.6 seconds for Canovas. It was
14.5 for Canovas, so I don't know if that was damage, maybe, or maybe, I doubt a speeding penalty is that short, but he lost a lot of time into the pits, that's going to cost him.
Yeah, whoa. I think he might have just overshot his pit lane, or pit stall, sorry.
Yeah, he maybe overshot. That's a big mistake if he did. I was just watching Don Day go off-roading, and he's going to let some other drivers on by here. As Canovas really lost a lot of time. He's actually closer. I'm not saying there's really no one close to him. He's pretty much on his own. He's probably not going to be able to get back up to Mattor on fresh tires.
Yeah, and even if he does, he's going to burn them all off. By the time he gets to Mattor, he's not going to have much to work with left, so he's looking to be sitting in 7th place at the moment. How about this? Talk about a recovery drive. This is for position Marco Sanfilippo versus Danilo Sanfilippo for 3rd place.
Yeah, that is pretty unbelievable if he does get up to that position, which it looks like it's likely he's going to. They're lucky they're teammates, because they probably wouldn't be racing each other too. Oh, Danilo is actually really loose into that chicane. Danilo probably would be pretty scared if it wasn't his teammate, but even then, he still got into his teammate. I can't believe Marco's too happy with racing him again.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing these two guys, their lap time difference. You can see last lap through, Marco was able to make up a second on Danilo. That's pretty insane. And looking at their fastest laps too here, I'll pull those off for just a second. For Danilo Sanfilippo, his fastest lap of the race was a 124 flat. For Marco, 123.3, so it was a really big pace difference.
Yeah, he's actually got, like, I believe Marco's lap is the 2nd fastest lap out of anyone in this session. The only one he's behind is obviously Ben Fuller. Ben Fuller put a 23 flat in at some point in the race, but Marco definitely has pace for a podium here, as he's only got one more spot to get back into that podium right here.
Yeah, you heard him have to actually back off the throttle as he's heading through Ascari. Again, the understeer from the dirty air from the car ahead had to back off of that. He's going to have to do something similar in parabolic here. Going to have to arc in a little bit different than his teammate. I'm curious how hard these two are going to fight for position, because in the grand scheme of things, as far as points, the team points are concerned, not going to be much of a difference.
And you got to imagine Marco really wants these points after last. Sorry, not after last week. Actually, I don't know where the point. I'm trying to look for Danilo in the points there. Yeah, after last week, Danilo was actually in the points lead by 5 points over Ben Fuller, and obviously Ben Fuller is gonna definitely take that lead away from him regardless. It's just a matter of how fast Danilo wants to go for these points. I don't think it's even gonna matter though, as Danilo really has nothing for his teammate here.
I think for these two, it's going to be a matter of not making a mistake. We saw at Road America, both these drivers are leading ahead of Ben Fuller, and both of them ended up making mistakes that pretty much handed the win over to the 40-55 car up in the lead at the moment. And Ben Fuller looking at winning all 3 races out of his 3 starts at the moment, unless something major happens to him in these last 14-15 laps of the Italian Grand Prix here on Sim TV.
Trying to look at some other battles. Obviously, Luca Furlick on his own, as well as Rafael Mattor. Bruno Canovas has got no one around him as well. A lot of these guys spreading out, but the race for 8th is not really on right now. Look, there's a couple lap cars racing for some position. Cody Samuel found his own in 8th. Andre Eisenlohr, after his after his mistake, he's still in 9th, and Leandro Bignardi and Jason Siemens, this is the battle for the points right now, as they're right next to each other.
Yeah, we'll see here who's going to win between these two drivers. There goes Siemens through, and then Bignardi right in behind. He's been trying to chase down the guys in the points for quite a while now. See them both race on by, and here they come into Ascari. You can see Siemens has been very defensive heading to Ascari. He's always been taking the left side of the track.
Yeah, he's been really trying to break the draft when someone's closing in on him. He's been really aggressive all race, as we know, so we'll see. He's got to be careful just to keep his car on the track now, so hopefully he's able to do that here and still get some points. He raced himself out of the points last week, I believe. Hopefully he doesn't do the same thing again.
Yeah, I made quite a few mistakes last week at Suzuka. You think about that run down into turn 1 where he was making a pass up for, I think, 8th position and fell back to 11th or 12th, so I think he's going to be eyeing not to do the same and not repeat the same thing again.
Yeah, and he's got Leandro, who's pretty experienced. He knows what he's doing. Leandro's a bit slower, though. He actually might have made a mistake last lap to lose that spot. I'm not sure what the tire difference is between these two, but Siemens trying to pull away here.
Tire difference with them is pretty much nil. They both came in at the same lap, so they're as equal as they can be. I saw some interesting stuff with the gaps back here, but nothing going on. This is Pedro Gomez trying to chase down Toledo. This is for 12th place between these two.
Yeah, Pedro Gomez, he's really struggled. Started 19th, and he's made some spots up, but really only because of some incidents. He's had a bit of a struggle this week for sure.
And Toledo started back in 22nd up into 12th. So it's been a great climb forward for Toledo, but hoping for a little bit more, and as you're saying, for Gomez as well. Started back in the pack and moved up into 13th, trying to chase down the 77. He's gotten pretty close over the last few corners.
Yeah, he might have a run here. I don't know if he's really going to want to force it for 12th into Ascari, though. He's not really close enough to make any sort of dive as he lets off pretty early.
Yeah, Ascari is a very tricky passing opportunity. You can see, though, the dirty air really compromising Gomez through. Going to lose up some time, be able to make it up on the straights here.
Yeah, they don't have too much time to start battling because you know who's right behind him, the race leader, Ben Fuller, obviously still setting a blistering pace, 6 seconds in the lead here, and he's probably gonna, he might even lap into the points today, we'll see, but he's definitely gonna get to these two.
You can see them right up there, the pair we were looking at earlier, and of course we were talking about Ben Fuller, set the fastest lap of the race earlier on, a 1:23 flat for Fuller, and not too surprising to see out of him after he's the only driver to set below into the 121s in qualifying. No one was able to match his pace in that department, so we'll continue on. Only driver I would think that could match him would be Marco Sanfilippo, who was actually able to get by Danilo at some point. We ended up missing that pass.
Yeah, I think we missed that pass once. I think when I was talking about points, I think Carl Flemster's letting Toledo and Gomez by in the turn, and the leader doesn't want to see these lap cars really getting in the way here. He has to go way to the inside there. A good move to get through all that traffic there by Flemster and Toledo. Toledo just let everyone by there, and Pedro Gomez does the same. That was a bit hairy, but Ben Fuller's through probably the worst of lap traffic.
Now again, no mandatory blue flags in iRacing, as are standard in F1. In some ways it's good, some ways it's bad. The leaders definitely argue that's bad, but he makes you through okay. A big thing for Matt Zeke here. He's coming up on these lap cars. He's got to find some way around them.
Yeah, if he can get through these guys quicker than Ben Fuller was, he might be able to gain a little bit of time. He actually gained half a second last time by cut the gap down to 5 seconds, but it's going to be really difficult to get by these guys in an organized fashion, especially when they're racing side by side for position, actually, as Emilio Fernandez-Garrido actually got up to P13. It might be an instant. There's an instant in the turn 1 chicane, and Jason Siemens is around.
Oh no, and Siemens dropping down the order as he finally gets the car righted in the correct direction.
Ooh. As that happened in the turn 1, that was the loud car Silvio Brazola starting all that, and he kind of just
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he just rejoined awkwardly and really hurt Silvio not doing a good job there, and Siemens just gassed it up in frustration and spun himself around.
All right, on board here. We'll actually go to Silvio Brazola up the road. This is him entering turn 1. He gets on sideways, and here comes Siemens on through and hit him. Yeah, if that car continue on, I imagine he had some damage. And yeah, I think even he was trying to do it on straight, but I think he's got suspension damage on that car.
And Leandro Bignardi did a really good job getting through all that, pretty much unscathed, and he's gonna get rewarded probably with getting that one single point, as even though he did avoid that, he actually lost a lot of time to Andre Eisenlord, who's 9th. So really unfortunate for really unfortunate there for Siemens, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Really can't do anything when the lap traffic just rejoins the track like that.
I'm trying to see where Bignardi is and how he's doing in the points. He's currently sitting... I'm not sure what position that is. Hang on, let me count here real quick. I think he's 12th in the points. He has a few points to his name so far this season. 8 to be exact, and looking to add another one to the total. I mean, it may not be a lot of points, but points are points at the end of the day.
Yes, that's true. It's still trying to watch these two leaders, Ben Fuller and Tim Matziki, still not through all this lap traffic. Still a 5-second gap. It has been cut down by a second, not enough obviously to make any challenge for the win here. And Matziki's really just trying to get through all these guys. He's only got Pedro Gomez to get through.
Yeah, and then after that, he'll be in some clean air. I don't quite think he's got the pace to chase down his teammate Ben Fuller, but still has shown some solid pace. It's funny because the fact that these cars are absolutely identical in every way, shape, or form to the rest of the cars on the grid, but you can see these two guys clearly ahead of, it's in a Mercedes-like fashion, ahead of the next team, Marcus Sanfilippo and Danilo Sanfilippo, and then you got pretty much the midfield in behind them. So it's almost like looking at Mercedes, Red Bull, and everyone else on the F1 grid.
Yeah, they're just way ahead of a game right now. It's really just, obviously, like we keep saying, no, the only competition would have been Marco, as Marco's actually putting down really good times compared to these guys. He still ran a 23 last lap, obviously maybe on a bit fresher tires, but he definitely has the pace, maybe a bit Verstappen-like, being that third driver on the grid really fast. Might have been able to contend for the win if it wasn't for his bad luck on that first lap, but he's still going to come away with a decent finish, almost about 8 seconds ahead of Danilo Sanfilippo already.
Yeah, he could have definitely been, I think, a solid fight for at least that second place spot over Matziki. Maybe not Ben Fuller exactly, because Fuller seems to be even compared to his teammate in his own zip code. But for Marcus Sanfilippo, I'm kind of looking here, and you know, he's only 17 seconds in behind. He's been, from at least Matziki. You think of that spin was probably 10-15 seconds itself, so he could have probably been up there had that not happened. He's going to maybe be kicking himself a little bit, but as you were saying earlier, the drive that he's had, again, we don't award driver of the day, but if anything, that would definitely go to Marcus Sanfilippo.
He probably wishes there was an extra bonus point or two for that driver of the day, but that's just simply not the case. But either way, he definitely does have the drive of the day from the front all the way back to the back, and he's made his way all the way up to a almost sure podium spot here, and a really amazing drive by him.
You see any other battles going on? The track field spread out fairly decently at this moment. Emilio Gugarito trying to work on Pedro Gomez right up ahead, and Gomez still working on, or was working on previously Toledo. He got on by. Now Siemens up ahead. You can see me actually pulls out of the way. I think just trying to nurse that car back home.
Yeah, you see the left front wing there just really damaged from the contact with Silvio, and he really has nothing down the straight, so he just thinks it's best not to battle at all and just let them go, as he's going to drop to 13th. He also left by Emilio Garrido as well, as they're battling for 11th all of a sudden. Gomez and Garrido side by side through there, and Garrido's going to get the position.
Yeah, and actually just missed that riding on board with Siemens there for a second. We'll go back on board here.
Siemens actually just came back into the pits. He's gonna maybe repair. He might just park the car. No points. Really doesn't have a chance at the points. He might just be calling it a day.
Sorry for that. Thought the camera angle was good, but you can see there. I'll go back just a little bit more. See Garrido make a dive into Parabolica here. Nicely timed dive, and is able to keep the car to the corner. That's a hard thing to do, especially to the inside, but was able to pull it off.
Yeah, really impressive that he had the grip to pull that off. Really strong move there to get that position away, and he's really pulled away through the first sector of these corners from Pedro Gomez. Better pace than Gomez here for sure.
And for Siemens into the pits, he came and out he is now back in 15th. Oh no, he's sideways on cold tires through the first chicane. That's gonna be frustrating.
He's been frustrated since that turn 1 incident there that he had. He knows he's pretty much done with the points right now, really just racing for nothing. He's really besides himself right now.
And Dinwall was trying to avoid a repeat of Suzuki. I discharged it into too hot with the cold tires and flying over the curbs.
Is that Eisenlohr he almost hit?
Maybe? Might have been.
Close. Might have been Charlie Bates, I'm not quite sure.
I think that's... No, it's not Eisenlohr. Sandwith, no. Not who's teammates with Furlick? I think it's Sandwith, right?
Might have been, I don't think it was Leandro, I'm not quite sure though.
I really am just curious of who that was.
Figured out at some point, I suppose.
There he is right there. Is that Furlick? Oh, that is Furlick.
Oh, it just was Freilich, yeah. I guess I couldn't tell. We said his name. We were close enough.
And so Furlick up ahead, still running nicely by himself, pretty much in 50s, kind of in no man's land, as is the rest of the top 5. No one else quite between them. Most of the battles have been going on in midfield around 10th place. You see Bignardi, followed by Emilio Garrido, and then Pedro Gomez. So Garrido, now we've seen some pace out of him. He's trying to drive his way back up inside the points. He is so close to getting it done. As you can look also in the lap times, that's definitely not right. Or maybe it is.
It might be, yeah. No, it is. Bignardi made a really big mistake somewhere. Now he's in the clutches of these two right now who are battling for 11th, but Bignardi's pretty much dropped all the way back. He lost. I'm not sure where he lost time.
Yeah, no, that does make sense because I remember he was fighting with Eisenlohr, and then I think last lap through just made a huge error here. So now,
It was Ascari. He spun through the first left-hander in Ascari.
right on, we'll keep on board here as Garrido very much within the draft here, trying to chase back up to Bignardi here, heading into the first chicane. Nowhere close to making a pass, but now Garrido going to start to mount the pressure. Oh, never mind, as Bignardi makes a huge error.
And just like that, that is Fernandez Garrido, end of a points right there, with really no error. Really no error from him there. Garrido just pretty much smooth sailing now. Bignardi really struggling all of a sudden.
I'm not sure this is older tires or what's the deal for him, but there you see into the chicane, just locked it up too much. Thought it was going to go on through, but decided to just take it somewhat normally and will go on through.
He's really struggling right now through the second chicane. Even Pedro Gomez is going to get by pretty easily as well, so things falling apart for Leandro here.
Yeah, and just as he was looking inside the points, even if it was just 1 point for him, that would have been nice, but now out of the points in 12th. And it's not looking as good of a day. He's going to try to get a run here back, and Gomez going to peel off to the left side here into Ascari.
He's really going to go for it here. He's got to be careful on the tires that he's got to not try too hard right here.
And they've lost 4 seconds back to Garrido with all the fighting they've been working with here. So Garrido's got a little bit of breathing room there. You can see him now entering Parabolica up in 10th place. So he's going to just try to drive away. Now 5 seconds and counting.
Yeah, he's really got no competition. He could just pretty much cruise from here. Only a couple laps to go. Only about 5 minutes at the same time. I think this is going to end on time. I'm not sure if we're going to get the... Actually, he's a lap down, so...
Yeah, I know.
Only got about 5 to go.
Yeah, the official time is showing 6.5 minutes left, so I think that should be enough time for these drivers. It's close. They've always run it pretty close, but just about enough time here left in the session. And Jason Siemens, I think Siemens has had another off. Oh yeah, he definitely has.
Out of Ascari somewhere, I think he spun. Yeah, coming out of Ascari, probably got too hard on the curb or something here. No, he just
pushed too hard. Yeah, I think just asked too much of the car. Again, low downforce on these setups, so you come out of, especially the exit of Ascari, so you're coming out accelerating, and just didn't have the grip, so gonna slip out. But again, not gonna cost him too much as he's still struggling. I think that I want to say that's Bruno Canovas working on by. That is Canovas having a solid day for himself in 7th.
And he's been trying to chase down Rafael Mattor, but he does have the pace. About a half a second faster last time by, I believe, but I don't think he has enough time. They were catching Luca Furlick as well for that 5th position, but just not enough time for these three to get closer to each other.
Yeah, I think Matto might be just backing out the pace just to ensure that he gets to the line in 1 piece in 6th. Again, there's not really too much to push for here in the later goings of this race. And again, for Canovas, probably going to be kicking himself a little bit of that pit road error. Again, not exactly sure what happened. I imagine he probably just overshot his pit stall. That cost him 5 seconds, but it's a precious 5 seconds because if that didn't happen, he would have been in front of Matto by now.
And it definitely would be a crazy battle for that 6th position for some crucial points for those guys as well. It would have been interesting, but yeah, too much of a mistake on pit road's going to cost him. So Garrido really gets slidey out of that first chicane. But a lot of these guys, I think this is the point when everyone knows they're really far away from each other and everyone's just trying to limp to the finish at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those parts where you gotta weigh, is it worth pushing? If you're out of the points, absolutely it's worth the push. So I imagine Bignardi is doing everything in his power to try to make up time. Him deep into the second chicane. He made up 2/10 last time through on Garrido. Not enough. He's got to tick off seconds now.
Yeah, and he's going to have to get some luck going for him to even come close right now, because Garrido just really setting a decent pace right now. Maybe not the fastest pace. He's been consistent this whole run, it seems like, and that's something Leandro's been struggling with, obviously, with a going off a couple times here, so he's really struggling right now. He's gonna need a lot of help now to get up there.
Is whipping down the straightaway here into Scari with Bignardi, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough to make up to 10th place. So Garrido, again, can't quite rest on his laurels, so got to push a little bit longer, but be happy to get 1 point to his name. And also looking at Garrido, how he's doing. He's actually ahead of Bignardi and will continue to expand that gap. He's got 12 points to his name. We'll make that 13 if he can hang on for just a little bit longer.
It's going to be a decent job to even scrap for points. He might have been given up, but you just can't do that at this point. Especially early in the year, you got to go for everything you can. It's going to move him up 1 point, like you said. I don't think it's going to move him. It's not going to move him up into points. It's going to move him 1 point closer to Esteverse and Oliveira, who I don't believe is getting any points today. So, a decent job. They'll get him closer to a bit more security in that top 10, possibly, in the points.
Yeah, Cody Sand was also another driver we saw make a lot of mistakes last week at Suzuka, working much better for him, running in 8th place. Yeah, pretty solidly over Andre Eisenlohr in behind. Andre Eisenlohr there in 9th, trying to work his way up. It looked like he was closing in on Sandwith, but close but no cigar for him.
Yeah, just couldn't really do anything by the end here. I'm still trying to see if there's any sort of battles. A lot just really spread out at the end of his race, especially after the pit stops. 1-2 separated by 7.5 seconds to Matsuki was closing in. He had it down to just under 5 seconds, but back out almost close to 8 seconds now. Marco Sanfilippo didn't have enough time to get the second, but a strong drive regardless. Danilo Sanfilippo kind of falling back. Maybe falling back a bit close to Luca Furlick, but Furlick obviously does not have the time to get up there. Also, the race for 6th is pretty much over and done with, and 8th and 9th as well, spread out by a couple seconds.
Yeah, as you saw there on screen, Ben Fuller came across the line, 2 laps to go for him in this race. Dominated and never really looked back. Has led, I'm pretty sure, every single lap of this race, and looks like he'll continue to do so here unless something amazing happens in the last few laps, but I doubt it at this point. Luca Furlick, you can see right there, running in 5th. For Danilo Sanfilippo, he's 17 seconds behind Marco, and I just cannot figure out why. Like, I know that, again, they're 2 different drivers, but be 17 seconds off, and I imagine they're using similar, if not the same setup. I'm just curious, do you think he might have picked up some damage from getting into Marco on the opening lap and has just been carrying it ever since, or do you think this is just all he's got?
I don't know. If he had damage, I feel like he'd be a bit farther back. I'm just trying to see if there's that big of a tire difference. I don't think there is. Marco came in lap 20, and trying to see when Danilo came in. Danilo came in around 19.
Yeah, a lap earlier.
1 lap difference. There's no visible damage, that's for sure. I don't know where Danilo would have gotten damage, or maybe made a mistake somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That might just be showing off how fast Marco is and how much of a threat he's going to be to win this championship with pace like this.
Absolutely, and fell back himself and Ben Fuller fell back a little bit after both being absent from Suzuka. Again, there are 3 drop weeks awarded to these drivers, but for Ben Fuller, you see him, he's taking the final lap. Light flag in the air for the 55 machine. New paint scheme, McLaren-themed paint scheme for him. Not sure if they're going to continue on. I wouldn't be against them continuing that paint scheme on because it looks absolutely beautiful.
And it's definitely paying off right now because it's putting them at the front. I joked about it earlier, but they are really flying. Like, they're pretty much those dominant Mercedes right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, they had the paint scheme of McLaren when
it was McLaren Mercedes, I think. So
yeah,
it checks out.
Yep. And continuing on, and then looking again at Matt Ziki, gonna have to check on his name here. I hope we can get from an interview just to check on his name, make sure that's correct. But he's been running at an awesome pace. His teammate to Ben Fuller, starting in second, has been running in second ever since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, but he might be a bit upset, but either way, it's a 1-2 team points day for him, and they're also going to get that extra bonus point for that fastest lap, so it's a huge day for Ben Fuller and this whole team.
Absolutely, and as Ben Fuller comes across the line here, as he comes out of Parabolica for the final time, he will win the Italian Grand Prix.
And a really strong drive by him. No one else deserved it. He was in a league of his own pretty much all day, and he was able to close it out.
And Tim Antiki is going to come in second place in the 22 machine. A little bit further back, here comes Marco Sanfilippo. Best drive of the day, in my opinion. Going to round out your podium, and he will hold on to that 3rd spot. Great drive for him. And then much further back than that, 20 seconds further, is Danilo Sanfilippo. Actually, 40 seconds back at this point, so quite a while back. I'm not sure if Danilo had a bad lap or what's going on, but
128. It was a 128 last lap, so he must have messed up somewhere. That's why Luca Furlick is only just behind him. Maybe another lap Luca could have gotten there, but there's not going to be
I
enough
wonder if
time.
he didn't put in enough fuel, and maybe he was trying to save. He seems sideways coming out
Yes,
of
he's
Parabolica.
right out.
Oh
Right
no! At the line, the engine sputtering. Luca Furlick gonna just emerge. You see him shaking the wheel violently back and forth in celebration. He comes home in 4th. Danilo Sanfilippo gonna be disappointed again. Not only did he finish behind his teammate, but also a position behind at the line. We'll have to hold on to 5th place. Rafael Mattor in 6th. Bruno Canovas in 7th. Cody Sandworth still working his way to the line in 8th. He can just hold on for one more corner, and indeed he will. And then you can see right in behind, Andre Eisenhower was trying to chase him down. Not enough. We'll hold on to 9th, and that's going to wrap up our finishers with 10th place Emilio Garrido. Lap down. I want to take a look again at the line there. That was...
Yeah, I can't believe that. He just underfueled it. Maybe he was trying to save or something, because he might have maybe just been that extra lap to hit too early. I can't believe that.
Yeah, just didn't feel enough, and you know, he's trying to save some time on pit road, cost him deal at the end. There you can see right ahead. At this point, Furlick thought he was lost it, and then just ahead gets it. You can see him celebrating.
That's funny right there. Really fortunate 4th place for him, but that's big in the points. That's big implications, regardless of how early in the season it is. That's a huge mistake by Danilo.
Absolutely, and we'll take a look here at your race results. Ben Fuller again winning the Italian Grand Prix in dominating fashion. No one, even his teammate, was able to touch him. Tim Manziki's teammate finishing in 2nd. Marco Sanfilippo rounding out your podium, and then that surprise finish by Furlick just to emerge in 4th place over Danilo Sanfilippo in 5th. With that, don't go anywhere. We'll cut to just a short little break. We'll grab some drivers to interview, and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. We're back live here with your 2nd place finisher, and Tim was just telling me how to pronounce his name properly. I apologize to him. Tim Matska, right? Did I say it right that time?
That was good, yes.
Okay. And Tim, you finished in 2nd place. Solid drive for you. Pretty much you and Ben both dominated the race. So just walk us through how you were able to, both of you really were able to walk to the front.
First of all, we practiced a lot. I think that helped. Like I had definitely put in a lot of practice because I was kind of new to the car. That was my second ever race in this car, and the other one was probably 1.5 years ago. Struggling a lot with the throttle control, but eventually managed to kind of get used to it. And I think we had a good setup. And then obviously with starting P1 and 2 and getting a clean start, we were able to run away quite easily in the beginning, and then it was just kind of controlling the gap.
Yeah, and also, so this is your first start, obviously, with Ben. Could we expect to see you around for the rest of the season?
For most of the races, I think, yes. I know that I can do next week, I think, so
Okay.
there will be a few races where I'm busy, but most of the time I think I'll be around.
Any races in particular that you're looking forward to?
Well, obviously, I'd prefer the high downforce races, so coming to the series at Monza was like, I mean, I'm not regretting it, but I love downforce and I hate managing the throttle so much. And today, like, there's, of course, compared to GT cars, what I normally run, it's still insanely quick through corners. But I like to flick it in even more, to be honest. And
Hey, if you hated low downforce in this area perform, I can't wait to see you in high downforce conditions. how you perform. Definitely can't wait to see you there, Tim. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
And moving on to Ben Fuller. Ben, you've had 3 starts. You weren't here last week at Suzuka. Do you mind if I ask what happened here?
Yeah, currently my main focus is just IGPS. I'm really looking to wrap up that official series championship. So yeah, I just kind of focused on that last week. I was happy to be around this week. I'm happy to have Tim as a teammate. I think this weekend went pretty well. As you said, we put in some decent time into the setup and the practice this week. I feel like it's not going to be very long until you're going to see some on-track battles with Tim and I. I think he's just lacking a little bit of experience, and then he's going to be there with me. I was pretty happy with the qualifying. I thought I was able to get a decent bit of the time out of the setup and keep there in Q3, but yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with the start too. I thought the first stint was good, but just made a mistake on the grid, I suppose. I typically hit the auto fuel button on JRT there at the grid up process, and for whatever reason, it automatically fueled in about 20 or 30 pounds sub what I needed for the fuel. So when I got to the stop and I would try to focus on fuel saving, I completely forgot that I need to fix that up, and then unfortunately underfueled, so I had to go back up on the jacks and put in some more fuel, but then obviously I didn't get it clicked down in time, so I was running with 40-50 extra pounds of fuel there at the end, but yeah, I was okay with the result. I'm happy that we got the 1-2, and hopefully we can go on to bigger and better things next weekend in Barcelona.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you the same question along with Tim. What tracks are you in particular looking forward to on the schedules? I mean, which it might not be worth asking because with the starts you've had, every single race you started this season, you finished up in first.
Yeah, I like all the tracks, to be honest. I think there's definitely some tracks on iRacing that this car shouldn't be racing at, but I think here in Formula I think the schedule is pretty solid. I'm excited for the street tracks. It's a big challenge, definitely, especially around Detroit. We raced that on iGPS recently, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, all the high downforce classic tracks are great as well. You know, Spa, Suzuka, ran that last weekend. I was sad to miss that, but Spa is going to be great. Coda's, I really enjoy Coda as well. I mean, most of the high downforce tracks, I think.
With that, Ben and Tim, for that matter, thanks for both talking to us, and we'll see you both next week, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, and with that, that is going to wrap up interviews here for the Formula I Italian Grand Prix. You're talking about Ben Fuller and Tim Matzke. Or no, sorry, Matska is, how do you say that? You're just telling me about it. I already started messing it up. I'll get that sorted again, well, also with the timing and scoring as well to properly get him in the ticket, because what the pace he's showing, I don't know, Connor, if you're listening, he's saying he doesn't like low downforce and yet still performed in second place.
did a really good job. He was able to get the podium that he deserved. And just his teammate was the only one who could outrun him, and you can't really be mad about it when your teammate outruns you. But we saw a lot of really good action from start to finish, a lot of drama early, a couple guys getting unfortunate wrecks in there, especially we also saw a really good drive from Marco Sanfilippo to get back into the podium, and a lot of incidents in the mid-pack, especially with some lap cars getting into the action, unfortunately, there. But all in all, it was a really exciting race to watch.
See, they're taking through the second page of standings as well. Some guys, and especially Leandro Bignardi, Jason Siemens, did not have good days, and hopefully, probably going to be hoping for better. Carlos Coutinho, also another driver, struggled a little bit. And looking back, also Thomas Ziegler too. We saw him do really well up at the beginning of the race, and then towards the end fell off. Ronaldo Augusto as well for F1 APS Red. I think this is the first race he's run where he hasn't scored points for that team. Quickly fact check that. First race he hasn't scored points this season after scoring points in the first 3 rounds. He's going to be hoping for better as well. Speaking of the next round, next time these guys will be on the track, be at Catalunya in next week. So I will be in the booth then. I think it'll be Connor, you, and Kyle. Kyle will be running these back again, probably in a much better fashion than I have been. But for now, I've been Finny DeCuna. Oh, Jesus. I'm Finny DeCuna here with Connor Horn, wrapping up the Italian Grand Prix for Formula I. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.